待ってね。試合がまだ始まらないしいいんだけど、コメント消しちゃったんだよな。ちょっと待ってね。まだ始まってないからね。選べるか、こういう時は。なるほどね。これを表示しておいて、このウィンドウをライブ画面、ライブ画面。ライブ配信。いや、間違えた。これで、なるほどね。やりたいことが分かった。何がやっと分かった。 オルトキーを押しながらトラックで、オルトキーを押しながらトラック、オルトキーを押しながらトラック。どうやったの？ああ、始まっちゃう。コントロールをする。
Hello and welcome to day one of the Owcs Korea. We are back, boy. Apex Season 5. It took a while, but we finally got here.
We got Apex Season 5! It's time for Overwatch Champion Series Korea to start, and we're starting off with a banger today. Runaway against Falcons. It is going to be so sick. Obviously, I've been doing this with you a little bit already earlier this week. We have the rest of our casting team here as well, Unknown, Gclef 9K, but this feels like the first day, because today is the day we're doing Korea. It's an offline LAN event. It's me and you casting together. I know I look a little bit different the last time you guys saw me. I've been through a lot. We've all been through a lot. The world went through a lot during that time. But I'm back. It's time for you and I to cast Runaway. Not an even season, though.
No.
Odd season.
That's true. It is odd season. So that could be a cause for concern. But also the team that they're squaring off against right off the rip. Because, I mean, Runaway, getting some of the old familiar faces back. Mag there in the tank role. Okay, saw him in 2018. After
Lee Jae-gon.
the rest of the team went over. Lee Jae-gon's there. But they're going up against Falcons, who are just stacked top to bottom as far as the roster is concerned. The largest roster that we have in all of the teams that are going to be competing here in Korea. But this is going to be interesting to see how this goes. But it's so exciting to see all of these faces coming back, to see some of these orgs returning into the mix. So bust out your pink sweaters, ladies and gentlemen, because Runaway has returned.
Yeah, they're back, and, you know, obviously before this season started, there were a ton of rumors going around about which orgs are going to come back, which orgs are more interested in coming through, and Runaway early on was definitely one of the ones that was, like, definitely like, okay, this one is definitely coming back, and we knew about it. We had to keep it a secret, and we were very excited. And when Runner announced and stuff, like, it was pretty emotional for me. And then you have this Falcons roster they're going up against. Runaway has always kind of been the underdog story, even here from day one.
Sure.
That is going to be the case. I won't get too much into the matchup just yet, because we'll talk about that a little bit later. If you haven't been following, if you haven't been tuning into Overwatch Champion Series so far, this is our format. We have 3 regions, but our region is broken up into 3.
Yep. So we've got Korea, Japan, and then Pacific. So plenty of teams, plenty of representation from all around Asia. Going to be battling it out. And of course, there is going to be that Champion Series Asia, that main event that everyone's going to be vying to get to, and then the majors, and then we'll go back into regular season play, so on and so forth. And, you know, it'll be fun when we get around to majors, see some of the, you know, some international competition, something that was always fun to see back in the day when it was a little bit rarer, before it was just everybody mixed together into one big league. So we'll get to see how those metas really do clash after so many months apart from one another. So it's going to be awesome. It's already been an incredible just opening week here. It's been great to see all the fans rushing back to this, just really embracing a bit of a more open circuit style of Overwatch esports.
Yeah, it's awesome. And here are our teams. We do, of course, have 9 teams in Korea as well. Some names that you guys might recognize, obviously Runaway. Falcons, who was formerly Hamster before they got acquired, was the super team. They are definitely the team people are saying right now is the strongest on paper. And then you have teams like Yeti kind of thrown together. Vesta Crew, a lot of people might recognize that name. Synprisa Gaming as well coming back. And then Poker Face, the defending Contenders champions, the last season of Contenders Korea. So they're here as well.
Yeah, I mean, Synprisa and Poker Face, of course, also making appearances in the Overwatch League last year when we kind of had the integration of those Tier 2 teams folding into the league itself and getting some experience playing against those that were in the Tier 1. Saw a couple players as well getting picked up after the performances that were being put on during that time. So it's good to see those orgs sticking around. But then, of course, some newer faces, Genesis, FTG, making their way through. Whack! Is what I don't know why I just had to put an emphasis on whack.
I mean, there's something about whack, the logo as well, that really just gets you.
It looks like a lifestyle, just like a streetwear clothing brand.
So, of these teams that you'll see here, some of these teams don't really have any notable players on them, but the most famous team that you see that didn't make it is Has Been. That was Ryu Jae-hong's team that had Haksal on it, and it was a very sick roster. But unfortunately, due to, an accident that Ryu Jae-hong went through, they weren't able to qualify. I mean, it wouldn't have necessarily qualified, but obviously they didn't even have their whole roster, so a bit of an unfortunate situation. Synprisa Gaming qualifies over them instead, though, and you can see Poker Face beating out Vesta Crew in that one, and then VEC as well. So Has Been unfortunately not able to make it, but I hope those players, those legendary players on that roster, will maybe appear in some future Overwatch tournaments here in Korea.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, all the best wishes, of course, to Jae-hong as well. I'm hoping that, his injuries, whatever they may be, are going to be recovered from swiftly. But again, just in case you guys haven't been paying attention, we do have a map pool, the map draft, done in advance coming into today. But the teams can go ahead and they can ban away maps as we get ready to go through everything. And that has basically given a bit more openness and choice as far as what the teams can play. If you know that your opponent's going to be really, really strong on a certain map, that certainly is going to be one of the first things that you look to ban away, etc., etc.
And I think with the depth of rosters we have in Korea, I mean, we've seen this a little bit in Japan as well, but the depth of roster in Korea means that you have players that are designated for certain types of playstyles, and we'll see, I think, very map-specific substitutions a lot here in Korea. What a day we have today. Falcons versus Runaway to start things off. SPG against Poker Face is the second series, so that one should be pretty sick. And then some real classic old school and VEC against From the Gamer as well there in the end.
Yeah, it is going to be a top to bottom amazing day of Overwatch here. So hope everybody is hungry, because y'all going to be eating real good with this one. Also, gotta say, and I will be checking later, if Avril's not wearing his pink sweater coming into this one, you're dead to me. So you better be wearing that one on your stream right now, because if you're not, then you're messing up.
He's gonna feel really silly if he's not. I'm actually not sure, but we'll check. Make sure you call him out, chat, if he's not doing it. I've got mine in a very safe place, my OG Runaway sweater.
Oh, mine has been like vacuum sealed. It's in an oxygen-free chamber, so it's away from the sun, so it can't fade. It can't be, the threads can't come undone.
I mean, we're of course referencing Runaway when they went to the Apex Season 2 finals, and actually, I don't know which player did you get? I had Haksal. Oh, I bet you did. I bet you did.
I'm pretty sure I had KOX spelled, the player Cox, on my sweater. But we'll see them walking out onto stage now for the first time. Team Falcons. And again, I mean, there's so many players on this roster, so many known faces, so many known quantities.
This is the super team, all right? And you've got Krusty leading the charge here as well. It is the team that everyone wanted to acquire. This is Team Hamster that, had been around since, earlier this year, and everyone knew once this roster was built, it is going to be the one you want to acquire, right? And Team Falcons won the bidding war, because I can tell you there were a lot of orgs that wanted to pick this squad up, and it was Team Falcons, an org actually that's been around in Overwatch since 2017, the Saudi org that has gotten involved in a lot of different tournaments. But on the other side, Achilleos, they returned to the stage for the first time since they disbanded in 2021. It's Runaway coming back, and you love to see it. Not wearing pink today, but the logo still stands.
It might not be pink, but they do have the new team uniform. They're rocking the sweater style. as we'll get everybody out on stage. And of course, I think as soon as the system was announced, well before the system was announced, mind you, Runner was looking to just bring everything back. So it's fantastic to see him back on stage once again. I mean, the last time that we were really getting to commentate the squad, he was in his active military service.
Yeah, he was
couldn't actually be on stage, couldn't be on a televised broadcast, so he was hiding in the booth.
Poking his head out.
That famous picture of him hiding in the booth trying to give coaching advice in between the maps during Season 2 of 2018 Contenders.
I mean, we have seen this org go through so many different rosters. Let's talk about Falcons first, because this is the team to beat right now. In the damage role, you have Proper and Stalker, Tank, Smurf, and Hanbin, so really balanced tanks to start things off. Smurf will be the starter today. And then in support, you have Fielder and Chio, two great players throughout their entire careers. You know, you and I have commentated the very beginning of Fielder's career. He had such a great start, and he just kept rolling. And then Sir Majet as well, who comes in here as, you know, a pretty unique choice, an import to the Korea region. We didn't really see that throughout Korean Overwatch, and he's a defending Overwatch World Cup champion. So we'll see what he can do to potentially today as well. He's in Korea. He is with this roster, so you can see him on stage potentially, maybe even today.
I mean, he was there on the walkout. It's just a matter of if he makes his way into the seat itself to be performing. But of course, you know, Hanbin similarly going to be stepping back, waiting on the bench. Hanbin, something that we're going to be seeing a lot, you know, if perhaps he's going to be coming in, you know, a lot this year. He's going to be playing it. Think of Hanbin, Diva, Zarya, two picks that are very much not in this current meta. So Smurf starting, not really a cause for concern. But for Team Falcons, I think one of the biggest things for every single player on this roster is looking for a dominant start and a dominant finish, because we saw that from a lot of them coming out of the last Overwatch League season. Atlanta looking like the favorites to be able to take the entire tournament. They go on to get reverse swept versus Hungry Spark in the playoffs and then bomb out versus London Spitfire. So Fielder, Chio, Stalker, not having the best of time. Proper as well, not nearly as strong of a finish with the San Francisco Shock. Smurf, while he was able to hang on, stay in the playoffs for a little bit longer, just wasn't able to make that push to try to get into that grand final. So we'll see how hungry they're going to be to you know, start things off very nicely. But on the opposite side, here's Runaway.
On the other side, you have Runaway, right? And this is a roster that, as much as we are super hyped that Runaway is back, and they have been a team that has basically always been a top 4 contender in every tournament they've played against throughout the years. This is a roster that doesn't have any substitution, so it's very rigid. You have Zest and Prophet in the damage role. You have Mag only. He's returning to this roster, a familiar face. Love to see him back here on Runaway. And then Lee Jae-gon and Vigilante. It's a solid roster on paper. All eyes are on the tank role right now. Will Mag be able to play well in this meta? Will he be able to compete with some of the best tanks in the world is the question that everyone has. Most analysts putting this team bottom 3 in their power rankings right now. And I think the Runaway's going to have to change the narrative, because as hype as it is that they are back, I think the expectations so far are low.
Well, I mean, for the side of Mag right now, while being very centric to the meta, does lean toward, you know, in his favor just a bit. We saw, you know, oftentimes back in the league when he was in the Soul Infernal, running that Wrecking Ball, just even on maps where it wasn't even the most viable thing, and more often than not, being able to make it work at least in the regular season. But has he expanded that hero pool? How do things develop as we go deeper on? You know, in this, you know, with more balance changes and whatnot, because if the Wrecking Ball is not going to stay near the top, then the Mag stocks, they do start to drop a little bit.
You need to have, I mean, most teams have a tank backup player, as Hanbin is, for example, in our Falcons roster. We just saw, because of the way that almost every composition is centered around the style of play the tank is playing. And that has kind of been the case for most of competitive Overwatch throughout the years, but now that it's a one-tank game in Overwatch 2, that is even more so true. So it is very exciting as we're going to take a look at the map vetoes here. Looks like we are headed to Lijiang Tower.
Lijiang Tower, my friend.
That's right. And
oh boy,
I watched him play on this map in the qualifiers. I was watching Runner's stream. He had some environmental kills. It just felt like the old days for me. We went right back to where we started. And they're running, at least based on the qualifiers, a lot of Sombra Tracer on this map. A little bit of Junker Queen, so that is my expectation for Runaway. Falcons, a little bit less data for me on them.
See how this ends up shaking out as we get ready to go into this opening game here. But I mean, Lijiang Tower, always going to be exciting to see. On the other side, the big matchup that I'm going to have my eyes on is going to be Zest versus Proper. fully anticipating that they're going to be coming out here on those
この
tracers.
メンバーだけ
Zest,
見た
a
ら
guy who
そうな
kind
る
of
わ
really built a name for himself as just being an absolute lunatic and somehow constantly getting pulse bomb sticks on enemy tracers. So having him going up against Proper, this just player who broke out onto the scene. Obviously, you and I had commentated him years before. He had been in Tier 2.
プロパーっていわゆるあれ
He
だから
just, I mean, he just collected every accolade you could possibly
チー
get
ムアシストの
in
ついた
your
PC
Yeah.
プレイヤーみたいな
I mean, it's funny to me. Proper, I always associate with Zarya because that was the first pick he was really playing, back in the day, back in 2018. And he was one of the first, Zaryas when the Korean teams were starting to pick up Zarya, starting to play Reinhardt Zarya before Goats had really fully become a thing. And then obviously he became an amazing Tracer player. And Stalker also, I kind of associate with Genji a lot. So, I don't think we're going to be seeing Tracer Genji dive. It's not 2016, 2017, 2018 anymore. But, we'll see how they play today. Again, Falcons have been together for a really long time as Hamster. This Runaway roster formed a little bit later. So they should have a little bit more advanced synergy. They have Rusty. Okay, so this team is definitely the favorites. I do want to make that clear, just because Runaway right now is there's so much hype around this team. Like, it cannot be overstated. They are big underdogs, and it's going to be an uphill battle.
Yeah. It's all about getting value for your merch, though, because, I mean, if you were one of the fans who picked up the sweaters for the first time, picked up those fan signs and everything like that, the same Runaway fighting on it, you are still getting use out of this thing years later. I mean, we're on the better side of a decade, but it looks like we're just about ready to get started. So Lijiang Tower, the first map here in this first to 3 series. How far can we go? We'll have to just wait and see, because right now there is no way of knowing. But I, for one, I'm jazzed up. I'm ready to rock. I'm hoping this goes the distance.
Hell yeah, I hope so too, Achilleos. I really think that Runaway can, if they play well, if they bring back that Runaway magic, they could bring us to 4 at least. I don't think this is going to be a 3-0, but I do think Falcons are massively favored here. It all starts on Lijiang. Great map here for Runaway. Even though Falcons picked it, we'll see if they can make it happen with that Sombra pick. We saw them use so much in qualifiers, or if they're going to change it up today.
It's going to be a bold one.
I'm hyped!
But I'm glad that the teams are also straying away a little bit more from Samoa, because I've been casting way too much of that. Maybe we can also, if we're sticking with the classics, we got Lijiang Tower. Maybe when we get the hybrid, we'll get King's Row, Hollywood.
Yes.
So far, we've only had one King's Row played in Asia, like completely, and that was in the Pacific, I believe, just yesterday. So hasn't really been something that's been at the forefront of the picks. So I'm hoping that we get a little bit of
Yeah, that's right. Grandpa, Achilleos, and Wolf. We just like to see the old maps, okay?
What can I say? Well, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we are about ready to go. The players on stage, on cam, the fans there in the audience, ready to root for these squads, for these players that they have not necessarily seen on stage in a damn long time. So you bet your asses that everyone in that audience is ready to go.
No doubt. We don't know exactly when the game is going to start. I'm going to break the fourth wall a little bit, but we know it's going to start in just a moment here. And I couldn't be more excited, man. It feels like a dream that we actually did finally get back to somewhat grassroots Overwatch here. And Runaway is back. You've got a super team, all the best Korean players, that they could put together after Overwatch League, facing off in our opening day, opening match. It's me and you again. And I am really looking forward to seeing what the future of this tournament has in store for us.
I'm a bit of a flat circle as we take a look here at the stage shot. Inclined to believe that we are that much closer to getting into game. And yes, we are, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, Lijiang Tower, our opening series. Owcs Korea. Falcons versus Runaway. The gate's getting ready to drop. Battle getting ready to commence. Mag for now showing the Doomfist. They're going to be sticking with it.
Yeah, looking like it. We'll have teleporters out here. Doomfist, Echo, Tracer, Kiriko, Lucio Mirror. It feels like we're back in Korea. We got mirrored comps. That's how we do it in this region. And looking for an opening pick here.
A lot of damage there on Profit. Taking low. This time coming forward here from Smurf, absorbing quite a bit of damage.
どっちが勝つんだ
Down
ろ
to half HP, will pull away. So
Well,
far,
yeah,
neither
well,
team really
David's
making their way over to the point, which still is not going to be
Yeah,
unlocked
Mike,
for the next 5 seconds.
圧倒的なデュオボイス
Be a
のイメ
bit
ー
more
ジ
of a
ない
neutral fighting coming through, looking for any kind of pick. Lee Jae-gon going to be going low. Smurf as well, tagged up
メイン
as
タンクミである
he
と
said
メイ
for
ンタンクっ
proper.
ぽい
Lee
のが
Jae-gon
まだ
needing to survive. Backs away, looks grabs that mega pack, is able to stay alive, but with no neutral kills coming through yet, neither team still making their way over to the point. But as I say that, the sticky bombs go through. Smurf going to be taken down. Zest diving forward, also able to find Fielder. The rest of Falcons now needing to back away, and Runaway will be able to get the first cap.
Falcons a little slow on the draw on this one. Stalker doing way more damage than Zest in that last fight after Zest went in and actually had a recall early, but they are able to get this first cap off of making the damage actually count and getting that initial pick on the Smurf. Now they have control of the point itself, and that ult for Vigilante going to be online first.
They're looking for Smurf once more. Down to about half HP. Pulse bomb already here from Stalker, so still doing a decent amount of work. He's out ahead of Zest in that regard. He's going to take that punch, but Profit will find the better of Proper, taking him out, getting that
で温存し
elimination.
て時間稼げるよ
And now does have that duplicate online in case he gets himself into a rough position, but Runaway holding the point for now.
And
4 ultimates nearly built up.
The composition here for Falcons is, somewhat pick-based. You're going to have to use the Doomfist to get in or otherwise kill someone on this approach, so it's very difficult to actually have a strong initiation here with this composition. So Runaway could just sit back and bide their time. Mag gets low.
Mag still just trying to keep him alive. Sound Barrier going to be held onto as Profit goes for the Doom, copying out the Doom Fist here. Sound Barrier dropped in first from Shio, now matched by Lee Jae-gon, gets chilling out on either side.
まだウルト抱えてんの
Everybody
チー
going
ム
to be topped up here as Proper tries to stay in this Doom, both he and Profit. Meteor Strike now online.
プロパーデュームか
Dropping down here into a safer position as that Doom breaks. Takes a ton of damage on the way out though. Will be able to stay alive for the time being. A Stalker makes his way around the backside, gets the pulse bomb across, and that's going to be Profit taken down. Profit now going to be broken out of the Dupe, but as Smurf comes down with his own Meteor Strike, he's able to find the elimination here onto Mag. Stay alive. This goes up, just trying to stay safely. Jae-Con
He's buying time.
doing his damnedest, buying some time, but eventually will be felled. Vigilante able to find a headshot there on the fielder before getting taken out. Flip will now come through, but 79% built up here for the side of Runaway.
They shouldn't be able to punish Vigilante's late death here or anything like that. They're just going to be able to sit back on this point. And Runaway decided to go all in on winning the team fight and actually grabbing that 99. They used a lot of ultimates. They still were able to get up to 80 here. We kind of reset to a neutral point as Runaway, of course, will have to break through the choke. See if Profit can actually win this Echo battle. So much of this is just DPSs against each other here. The tanks can only go in once and use their combo. It's really just about accuracy, and Zest is hitting his shots.
That he is.
結構デュームが一回
Always gonna be
強
good for
引
those.
に
Pulse
当た
bomb
る
now online, looking for the stick, but no. Smurf taking the punch out. Gets himself
I'm
away
going
from
with
that
that
one,
with
but
the
still
kick.
is under fire. Still going to be taken low. Meteor Strike
I'm
out.
gonna chill out.
Mag unable to come up with any kills. Now Profit
Drop
and Lee Jae-gon
bar.
both going to be taken
Fist
down.
or
As Zest
something
is
like
able to
that.
find Smurf. But with the beam coming through, Mag will fall, and that's just going to be the cleanup coming in. So very nice fight win here for the side of Team Falcons, as they will maintain
ハルスボ
control.
ムはしっかり
Using the
機能してる
cooldowns, obviously first to go in is what Runaway is going to have to do with their Doomfist engages, and that means Team Falcons can continue to just play defensively unless that pick comes through, because it was so close there for Zest to actually get that elimination, but he's unsuccessful, and then the turn is very good here. Proper just maintaining a really nice angle here where he can actually threaten the approaching members while also not being really damageable himself. You can see how awkward it is for Profit. He has to expose himself here.
そう
Back now, considering rushing out from the field
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
To work
yeah,
away
yeah,
from
yeah,
point plus one from Stalker, able to find Profit once
So,
more, getting that
so,
elimination and
so,
feeling the
like,
headshot,
Shinji-
taking down
Shinji
Mag.
Groupの方が早い
Sound barrier will be
Shinji
built
Group.
up, but it's going to be a last fight territory here for the side of
パスした
Runaway
く
to
ない
try to
の
get
は
this point back into their
ファルコンがある
control, and you can see Falcons wanting to chase forward and find any additional picks that they can.
Sound barrier advantage here for Runaway is going to be pretty massive if they can actually use that to get onto the point and actually win things out. I mean, you're either going to have to use it to approach the point or just try to rush it on the point and toss it down and win out the longer fight.
サウンドバレーの方がアルティメットの質的には絶対強いか
Good
ら
turn the tides of things.
ここでワン
Sound
ピッ
barrier
ク取れ
is
る
used to
いやーダメージが
point there. Flip getting ready to come through. Nice punch back there. It's Proper
Proper,
finding
Proper.
Profit, taking him down. That Duke now eliminated.
Proper.
Pulse bomb from Zest, unable to find the stick. Proper in front of the headshots,
Proper,
takes him
Proper.
down, goes for the Duke once more here on the Mag. And it
Proper,
seems like
Proper.
Falcons, once they gain control, they will not let it go. They run it back all the way up to 100% to close out the first round of Lijiang.
Yeah, it's really tough with this composition to use a sound barrier in an efficient way, even if you have sound barrier advantage, as Runaway did there. And really nice play there by Smurf as well in the corner, mitigating a lot of that damage, has the Meteor Strike to avoid the Pulse Bomb as well. And that was all of Zest's damage that he threw into the Doomfist, so just not able to sustain through. Really great play from Smurf all around. playing very defensively on the Doomfist, going very low, but then escaping from a lot of really tense situations. And the game plan seemed to be for Runaway to focus Smurf down several times, and he was able to get out of those sticky situations. I think a great performance from Zest, though, to be sure. The accuracy coming through on the Tracer. And I think we got a close series on our hands here, potentially, if this continues. As compositionally, we're sticking with the same thing. And this is Lee Jae-gon's wheelhouse.
Yes, this is the round where we have our eyes trained on him. On Prophet as well. A little bit of a rough time there on the opener of Night Market. But assuming it's a sticky bomb, just going to be exchanged here on either side with Smurf pulling well back behind the building. Stalker looking to try to inch forward. The dive in. Oh, it's so perfectly executed. He managed to find Zest. Catching him completely off guard. Can't recall, can't blink away from that one. He gets taken down. Lee Jae-gon now trying to make his exit. Dive forward. Stalker getting on top of Vigilante. Mag able to find an answering kill though. Does get the punish here on the Smurf. And that's a window of opportunity for Runaway to potentially find a very fast flip.
Yeah, they're going to have to rush in for it though. Lee Jae-gon going to have to speed them up and get them onto the point. Mag trying to get to this backline here. Not finding a ton of value though, and the window, it feels, has been in some ways missed here. They're going to contest the point, however. Now Smurf back here.
He's able to rejoin quickly. Punch across, not able to find anything, but it's going to be Chio taking down Lee Jae-gon. Proper under some fire, healing coming through, able to keep him sustained. Pulse bomb lobbed in there from Stalker, not finding the connection,
they got
not
the
finding
cap.
the kill, but yeah, the flip is there. Runaway now going to be in control, and Vigilante using this Kitsune Rush to try to keep everybody alive. Assist still going to be found, still going to be taken down as Fielder finds that kill. Now Mag is going to get dropped as well. Vigilante so very low, will get finished off if the beam comes through from Proper. Even with the Kitsune Rush, it is not going to give them staying power. Team Falcons will get the reflip just after losing control, just after losing the lead. They'll regain it.
And arguably, having the Kitsune Rush now defensively means that Falcons have a pretty massive ult advantage on this flip as well. And they have the advantage of controlling this choke point bridge itself, meaning that Runaway only have one real angle of approach, and it's going to be Zest who's going to come in first here and try to layer some of that damage on. So difficult to crack this now. Sound Barrier, once again, for Runaway, their only option. And that's if they can get to the point.
Here from Falcons, they want to take the fight over towards Runaway, want to try to stomp them out before they can make their way across the bridge. Dupe here from Prophet, going for the Tracer. Close to the pulse bomb. Healing, still staying alive as Mag continues to try to lead the charge. It's Zest as well with the pulse bomb of his own, works his way over towards the point. Kitsune Rush now here on the back end from Fielder. Laying that one in as Prophet going to be taken down. Nation bound, Lee Jae-gon with the sound barrier, just not enough to try to save his life. And once again, Runaway heading for the hills. Committed in, just looking for some further staggers, and they will indeed be found.
I mean, sometimes when you think about ult economy, you would never want to use a sound barrier like that in a lost fight like Lee Jae-gon, but these types of comps, you're just not going to have any other tools, unfortunately. I mean, he already used the duplicate Prophet did, so you have to win that fight or you've probably lost the map, and he does commit it, but it doesn't save him. A lucky pulse is what Zest needs to maybe get an opening pick onto Smurf.
Pulse God.
Smurf off.
Smurf, yeah, looks like goes off the side of the map there. Stalker, Pulse Bomb committed, not finding any kills, and now Runaway with some bought space, managed to work their way forward. They need to get this flip. Mag with a 2-for-1 special, though. Takes out Fielder and Stalker. That is certainly going to get them the flip. Falcons up to 96, however.
Not 100% sure what happened to Smurf, but I mean, I thought Zest was going to try to pulse him there and maybe win the front to back after that, but instead he goes off the wall, and so they just get to push onto the point, and then it's free reign for Mag. Once Smurf is down, he can get anywhere he wants to be, and this is a really nice opportunity that Runaway probably didn't think they were going to get. Now they've got Kitsune Rush back up, and they can try to operate around this point. Proper free firing, though, uncontested.
Just for the time being. Smurf again, presence here on the point. 50% about to be crested from the side of Runaway as Lee Jae-gon going to be going low. Kitsune Rush out from Vigilante. Stun there on the Smurf briefly as the pulse bomb goes down, but Zest again trying desperately to find the enemy Tracer. This time he's not able to do so, but Mag will be able to open things up a bit more. Smurf once more eliminated here. Geo builds up towards that. Sound barrier has it online. Fielder close to the Kitsune Rush.
Yeah, this fight,
stacking up the ults.
This fight is going to be what decides this round, 100%. And Runaway building up a lot of charge here, have control of the bridge. And let's see if Prophet can get some damage layered here. It's really just about whether they can put Smurf down. Sound Barrier committed already.
Now in, the Tracer going to be taken out. Zest able to confirm the kill. Sound Barrier expiring. Chio taken down off the back end of that one. Fielder not able to find that Kitsune Rush. He's going to have to hold it, but they need somebody to try and delay on the point. Proper being hounded down, trying to stay alive. Pulse bomb here off the dupe. Looking for that elimination. Eventually it will expire as he takes the disguise, and now has to come in just so Proper can try to stay in this one. And also get his way back over to the point and try to find the touch, but right now does not have the blink. Fielder respawns, and the tag come in, it does. Overtime now going to be forced out as Stalker rejoins. Proper building up, pulse bomb at the ready to go.
エリア外でやらせたのでかい。
Gonna be expiring before he can try to commit that one into the
Well,
fight.
Sound
Zest
Maria.
skirting around the backsides. Consider rush out from field.
Sorry, what do you mean,
Soundberry
Sound
into
Maria?
DJ gone and Profit.
Perfecto.
Finding Proper right off the rip. The beam comes across. He takes him down.
Yes, woman,
Both
the
from
Higai,
Stalker,
okay,
not
right.
finding any value.
Ah,
Now Profit
Ryoko
gonna be
will
traded
stop.
out. Both Echo is gonna be eliminated here from the fight. Mag charges up the punch, looking for a target.
お
Unable to
互い
find
ウルト
one.
は
Does hold
でもあ
on
る
to
状
the
態。
meteor
メ
strike
テオ
as
ス
a
トライク。
potential
メテオス
bailout
トライク。
option.
スマフ2人落とす。
Smurf drops down with his
最後
own.
逃げる。
Mag now takes the sky. Lee J-Gon gonna be
いやー、
eliminated. The
微妙な差。
Stalker
こ
able
れ
to
何？
find the kill. The drop in, the damage not really being found. Not too significant here as Falcons get the flip back into their favor. 98%. The touch is in. Overtime gonna be forced on the opposite side now. Runaway have their work cut out for them. The double punch, the stun out onto the board here from the 17 Falcons, but Chio and Fielder, they stand tall. Vigilante only able to find Stalker, and somehow, some way, Team Falcons will be able to take Lijiang Tower with the 2-0.
Oh, man, it just felt like for so much of that second round, Smurf was running circles around Mag in terms of his impact with his punches. Sure, there was the one opportunity where Mag was able to get that double when they did end up getting Smurf. He fell off the side, might have been possibly because Lijiang booped him and then he was in the middle of a punch and just went off the side there. But once he's down there, win that one fight. But otherwise, it just felt like a battle of the tanks which was being won. And the punish was so good from Smurf for a lot of that game. Every time Mag tried to go in on a flank, he was like, all right, well, now's my chance. And his counter punches were super good. He was able to threaten the backline. I feel like the one thing that Runaway really had going for them was the Tracer Echo play overall was really good. And they were able to compete very well in those matchups. So the Echo battle is very, very close. We saw a lot of picks there. But, you know, in this meta, the Doomfist is still kind of your core. You know, everything has to play around how he approaches the point because otherwise you just don't have any sticking power. So Mag, I think, struggling a little bit in that first map, but, you know, not a bad performance by any means, but Smurf, he just looks so good right now. Despite that one time falling off again, which we don't know, which probably wasn't his fault.
Everything else was pretty clean. I mean, it could have been a boo. I don't know that Boop would have gotten kill confirmation. Never mind. Either way, yeah, just one kind of minor oopsie there from the side of Smurf, but widely everything else looking overall quite good here for them. So Falcons getting themselves into a nice position, starting things off with that map win. Coaches, of course, making their way out to the stage to have a little bit of discussion here with the players.
Yeah, Hanbin.
Getting ready for that next one here.
Hanbin could be subbing in. We do not know just yet if that is going to be the case. And I see a lot of feedback on the Runaway side. That's what Runner likes to call it when he comes over to his teammates, or you know, or just his players rather, and gets really intense with them. It's feedback indeed with the coaching staff there on Runaway. And yeah, I mean, this meta is so lightning fast and it is so cutthroat. It is also just so unforgiving because if you lose on the battle on the point and you commit ultimates, you're really just going to have to out headshot your opponents. Like, this is not a GOATS meta. This is not a ult economy meta with how these two teams are fighting. It's really just about out-handsing the enemy team. And I think, you know, for Runaway's sake, their DPS players absolutely were matching. It's the rest of the squad, though, that had some issues.
Yeah, I mean, Providence exchanges versus Quabber from time to time as well.
Look at Smurf at this, man. This moment, dodging all that damage when he's low, gets the ult out to actually avoid the pulse bomb there. He outplayed Zest so hard in that moment. That was super clean.
I mean, overall, just fantastically done. I mean, great to see be tight-knit here. Not going to that third round. We don't get to see control centers, and that is a little bit of a bummer, but close score lines here on these opening rounds. We're hoping that that lends to a very close series the whole way throughout, as we will be going, of course, hybrid next. So I'm curious to see what these teams are favoring. Blizzard World has been what we're seeing pretty much the whole rest of the world across here. That's the double punch from Mag. Nicely opened things up for Runaway to make a very strong run back here.
Yeah. I guess that means we're probably just not going to get hard confirmation of what happened to Smurf because that was after that, but either way. Yeah, well, it's not a low light reel, okay? It's a highlight reel, Kilios. We will see that second map fairly soon. Again, you and I hoping for Kings Row just because I think that would be fun. I think if it's up to Runaway, like maybe they would go there and we can see Mag play Winston. You know, that's always a fun thing to see.
Sure.
I think Falcons probably would not want that and would probably take us to Blizzard World. Only time will tell us. It's been so long since Runaway fans can actually go live into the arena and cheer for their favorite team, right? And there, as you mentioned several times earlier too, there are players on Falcons though who haven't been able to play in Korea for a really long time too. So even if you're not, you know, if you didn't know about Team Falcons until they acquired Hamster, you might be just super hyped to see these players together. Smurf out for Hanbin.
ダンカークイーンですかねっていうような、まあ一番
They got to play out
ダンカー
Nilsson.
クイーンで多分ソジョーンが出てくるでしょっていうネタの読みが
But so some
は
of
早
you
いと思
know
う。
seen, but
But now
now
they're
you
in
have a
a,
whole season.
yeah, now they're in a regular season round robin tournament. So the Hanbin sub, if I'm going to be a detective, leads me to believe it's going to be
俺
Blizzard
の声
World.
がこんなもん
He's
だ
going
か
to
ら
play
もうちょっと
Sigma.
進め
That is my theory right now. It's my working theory. Achilleos.
Could be the case. I could also see Hanbin playing maybe Junker Queen on
フ
that
ラ
map,
ス
but
ティ
we'll
が
we'll
作っ
see.
てる
But
チ
I
ーム
mean,
だ
for
からやっぱり
Blizzard
面白い
World,
な。
Point A is Wrecking Ball friendly-ish. I mean, this was one of the maps that we did see Infernal try to, go for when it came down to hybrid.
I think it's really...
And Mag was running it there, so
Yeah.
I think that with Mag kind of being in, that might end up being your best possible option for hybrid as well.
I think for defense, for Runaway, you absolutely have to run the Wrecking Ball, if it is, of course, Blizzard World. We're not going to show the maps until all these subs are settled in, and by all I mean just Hanbin. He's the only sub, but the run back for Wrecking Ball on A is also so fast, so if you are losing control of the point, you can get back to the point very quickly without sacrificing any ult economy or anything like that. So that's another great thing. You can also look for the
King's Row.
teleporter. Oh, baby, yes!
Okay, it's not at all what I had expected, just given the Mag is in, but King's Row coming out, and I mean,
It's
within
Runaway's.
Korea, we
It's
have no
Runaway's
idea
pick.
what this meta is going to look like.
It's Runaway's pick, right? And we saw in Japan, at least, Winston on this map played with, some more classic dive style. So we've seen Tracer played with Sojourn here with Winston. That's kind of been, at least for Japanese Overwatch, the expectation. But I think Korea has a very different read on the meta. So time will tell. I'm really looking forward to finding out and just, seeing King's Row in general.
It is good to see.
マグだから、
But yeah, I
メ
mean,
インタンク
maybe I have the wrong read. I thought for sure that Runaway was going to be the ones looking to go to Blizzard World, and
They
they were
banned it,
also
yeah.
they were also kind of like the team
ウィンストンが飛んでくるっていう
globally
可能
first
性もあるし
adopted that map.
キングスローって何やっても
Back in
強い
season
から
one
ね
of Contenders 2018.
だから割とメタマップになりやすくて練習もしやす
Yeah,
いマ
and
ップでは
also
ある
the
んだけど
Stitch Widow era during that time as well was very
チーム
fun
で
to
練習してきた
watch.
構成を一番出し
And,
や
you know,
す
it
い
was
の
a
が
risky pick. I remember
間
you
違い
and
な
I
く
being a little bit
ランダム
worried
でキン
about
グスロー
it,
だから
and it did at times backfire on One Way back then in 2018.
今すぐ
but
電話これ見たら今すぐ電話してって書いてあるんだ
it
けど
did. That was
That ended
the
up
most
costing them
famous.
significantly.
おい日本人おる
Most famous
ぞ
one for sure.
Well, maybe Runner
誰
is
だ
still scarred by that one. Wants to
誰か
not
電話し
go
ろ
over to the map. Instead, it's just going to be some good old bread and butter gameplay on King's Row, perhaps with perhaps some very different compositions. It's worth mentioning, though, just in case people are unaware. All these members in the crowd,
あいつ
super
もしかして
excited
日
to
本
see
人だ
them.
な
Back in the stadium, watching these players on land.
オーバーウォッ
The
チ
ticket
リーグ
price
を
this season
韓国ま
has
で
gone
見
up,
に行く
but
女がい
It's
るの
going
か
to the players.
it's going to the players. We've
俺
got
そいつと
rev
結婚
share
したい
for
わ
all of the orgs, so 30% of the ticket sales are going over to the teams, which I think is an awesome, neat little thing
オ
to
ーバーウォ
do.
ッチ
Yeah,
KR を
100%. This
わ
sold
ざわざ
out.
現
I
地ま
was
で見に行く
told
女と結婚したいわ
in 2 minutes as soon as the
あい
tickets
つが
went
日本
live.
人かどうか知らないけど
I heard it was less
あいつが日本人だっ
yeah,
たらもう結婚したい
like
わ
20 seconds. Like it was just like less than a minute. It was just gone.
I heard it sold out before it even went live.
Back
I
in
heard
1985.
it sold out as soon as there was a conceptualization of OWCS.
Yeah, as soon as the website was created. Nah, but I mean, everyone was so ready for this here in Korea. And it's
I mean,
great to see.
especially us, to be totally honest with you guys who are watching at home. It has been a long time coming. It is super hype.
Well, I called him out a little bit earlier, in theory, but now I'm going to really call him out. I checked.
そう
During
サーマジェ
scout
ドの
time,
出番がな
Avril
さ
does
そうだ
not have a pink sweater on.
No sweater.
Not even the jersey.
Least
When he
based
came over to do the
unbiased
gauntlet.
co-streamer. Least based unbiased co-streamer.
I
Shouts to
still
Avril,
love
of
you.
course.
I assume he's back from the gym. He's wearing his tank top. He probably got his pump on. He's looking shredded. He's looking ripped. But how are these players going to look as we go into map number 2? That's the question. Because again, we want this to go the distance. But Falcons, a little bit more clutch, a little bit more clean there on the opening map.
Yeah.
What is Runaway putting together with his King's Row pick?
I'm feeling like it's going to be, I mean, just based on my experience with Japan, I'm feeling like it's going to be a little bit more Winston, Sojourn, Tracer. It seemed really
サ
strong.
ポート以外そ
Obviously
んな
on
に差が
A
見
you
え
have
な
a
か
lot
った
of power there, but I guess it could just be exactly what we saw on Lijiang Tower as well. I don't think we're going to be seeing any Sombra. I don't want to see Sombra on Kings Row. I feel like it's a pretty weak map for that. But Runaway obviously very good at Sombra. Time will tell us. We're going to go into it now. It's time.
Let's see what they're going to piece together here for
フォーカ
us.
スとかの話になっちゃうよね。結果論になるね。
Oh.
Symbol they have.
サ
So
ポートを落としてたら勝ってたもんな、多
Now
分。
hovering on that deep.
unironically, a lot of Japanese
下手したら
teams
2枚
are
落として
playing
たわけだもん
Diva
ね。
on
あ
Kings
の展
Row
開。
as well, but I do not think Hanbin will. I think he's just shouting out to his fans.
リオもキール
you
ダ
know,
ーも落ち
watched
て
to
る
play
からね。
Diva on Elo Mystic so long ago. Let him know he's still got it. He won't be playing it, but he's still got it, you know?
ナナベは
As
さっきと変わらず
Runaway
で、
on defense
フ
are
ァル
showing
コンズ
the
もこれ
same
多分
pattern
若干
we
食いに
saw
来る
on
でしょ。
Lijiang Tower. And sticking to what they've practiced, Echo
マ
Tracer,
グしかいないから、
Doomfist,
その
Lucio
工程しか練習して
Kiriko,
な
and
い可
then
能
for
性ある。
Falcons, still teasing. Still teasing.
これもあそこよく
Yo, it's
色がいる
Diva.
とこ。
I mean, the Diva could just be here to provide a
Diva?
D-Matrix to keep proper protected.
Yep.
最初守るだけだよ。
Peak, or does he stick with it? Proper already going to be dropping down.
Diva で行くのマジ
Hanben's
で。
going out the gate here with this Diva.
This is very strong right now. You have double support to kind of push him forward here and contest high ground.
ディーバで行くのに
And
ルシオ
he's
キリ
got
コ
a
で大
ton
丈
of
夫か
mobility, so I think this pick
大
is
丈夫なの
quite
か
strong. But if you fail the first push without building a whole lot, then you might swamp. So let's see what Falcons could do with this on the
さすが
initial
に
attack.
俺の教科書の中に
Uncontested on
ディ
the
ーバル
point.
シオキリコはねえ
They
ぞ
trying to break this Diva out could prove to be very difficult for the side of Runaway. Mag as well. It's really hard to try to control and corral that Diva, given that she can just go ahead and jet out of whatever position you try to knock her into. We'll just move up onto the high ground there. Still, they're going to be worked low. Says get around the back lines.
もう
Try to
ディーバ
find
逃げ回ってるだ
somebody
けだな、こ
for
れ
a。flank. Just offers up a little bit of damage at range there on a proper.
レッキングボールと同じことしてる
Starting to
な。
occupy the point. Hanben going to be whittled down to about half HP there in the mech. As they take on his first casualty, Fielder able to open things
Great
up.
作戦には成功し
Finding
たな。で
Vigilante,
も
yeah, everybody just piling in on top. Hanben will eventually be broken out of the mech, but with 4 deaths, Runaway is going to be
そ
losing
の
out
動
on
きレッ
the
キングボール
point.
でいくね
Says
ハンビン出す必要な
not
くね
capable of this level of heroics. He will be able
まあ
to
だから
solve
ハン
the
ビ
pilot
ン
form,
とりあえず
but
腕なめしときたいんだ
them
けど
storming their way in to get the cap.
They are so patient, and they were able to
ちょっ
slowly
と敵撃っ
tackle
て
high
逃げ回ってるだけだ
ground,
からさ
push around the edge, start to threaten
敵のボール
Profit, and then dive in together, burst down those
で
targets.
やろうよ
Hanbin
それ
sacrificed his whole health bar. He maintained armor the entire time he was contesting that high ground, going up the stairs as well. Great healing from Fielder to make sure that he could stay up, and that's a very fast
生
cap.
きるな怖いなあれ
The elimination there. The
Ichigo
Stigma
あれ
not
怖
quite
いな
finding him, otherwise he would have certainly died. Pulse bomb into the back line, looking for a little bit of some damage there. Not finding the stick though. Stalker will get whittled away at a little bit more there. Zest pulse
これ
bomb.
パルスボム外
Before
し
he will find much of anything there. Comes up short. Consider rush now going to be used from Fielder. You can see how much space Falcons are buying for themselves right now as the card steadily gets moved forward.
キツネは時間
It's brutal, so no chance at
エリ
archway
ア
control
取りだ
here
け
for
に
the
な
side
っ
of
たか
Runaway,
な
and in the end, it's going to have to just end up
ナ
being
ナ
this
ベはでもこ
butcher's
こしっかり
corner.
取られたエ
They
リア
try
を
to
カ
get
ウ
a
ンター
hold
で
going. Hanbin going to be taken low, will be broken out of the back. Good isolation on him. So they find that target, they collect the pilot
ワ
kill.
ンピックには確実に繋がるから
Widely, the rest of the Falcons able to just back away, wait out this Kitsune rush.
This is a great call from Runaway to try to win this fight ultless. You know, obviously minus the pulse bomb that didn't find value for Zest, but now they can control this archway. And Hanbin breaking through this, you know, he's going to take a ton of damage because he really only has 2 approach angles, either through this archway or through the window. And it's very difficult here without the self-destruct to remech to win a fight against Runaway who used no ults. Mag, great angle though.
Okay, dupe here from Profit, just trying to get another Kitsune rush available. Utilize that here on the defense is proper. Big punch, knocking multiple players back now, going into the back line. Meteor strike down. Profit, in the meantime, could have taken out of that dupe. Proper eventually suffering the same fate, but Profit
ちょっとドゥームで行
himself
き過ぎ
finds
た
the
か
beam,
プロパーって
taking
感じ
down that enemy Echo. And for now, the cart will stay locked in place. Stalker letting loose with that pulse bomb. Not able to find any eliminations. Might be a bit of a questionable timing to try to invest that ultimate right there. Meteor strike from Mag, dropping back. Sound
ハンドバリアでご了承を返される
doesn't have that self-destruct available. Gets up in the sky, lets it loose, looking for a pick. Everybody pulling back around the corner, around the backside of the cart. They managed to
強
avoid
引
it.
に
Big
自
punch
爆
comes
で
in,
エ
Mag
リアを
fighting
取り
forward,
返すが
sticking
ス
to
タ
the
ッ
back line.
ク大
Proper's
切
gonna be
と
taken out. Zest finding his mark.
This is really an extended fight here. Runaway buying a lot of time, but not really gaining much ground until now.
ただキツネでキープ取り返すがビジランテも一応上がりはする。入った入った入った入った。これ微妙だ。これでワンピック取れるかどうかだな。きっちり引き切る。これは吐かせられたね。だが一旦落ち着き。
Yeah, the Diva pick here, I thought would lose value the deeper we got into King's Row, but he's actually really just using it quite well. The defense matrix mitigates a ton of the damage here, and he's, you know, not going to be able to stop Mag from getting in and punching, but he can kind of whittle down Runaway, and then they just keep having this health advantage. The armor, you can really feel it on the Diva, and Prophet's down.
Prophet hovering there on that low ground stalker. HP takes a recall back out to full health. Now holds onto a pulse of his own as the cart continues to inch closer and closer to the point B checkpoint here.
It's not a poke comp, it's almost Phalanx-esque the way they're playing this, just grouping on the cart. And one more contest here from Runaway.
2 meters left to go. Pulse bomb looking to try to get the track in there on a Lee Jae-gon, but it doesn't matter. Hanbin's able to find his mark.
リジェゴンが落ちてる。
Sound barrier out there from Gio. Shield of everybody else as they continue to push. Eventually they will be fine. Cap going to be coming in. They'll get that minute and a half bump up here after Zest buys a little bit of time. Eventually will fall. So 3 minutes and 10 seconds now here for Falcons on the final push.
Yeah, and Mag's ultimate never really utilized here, but there's not really a great opportunity to do so because his team is constantly whittled down. And it's both now that you have high ground control here pushing towards C, a little bit of poke, but also just so much sustainability with this Diva here on the front lines. Mag doesn't have the same armor. When he goes in, he commits, he's going to lose a ton of health. You can see here, he's down to half already.
そんなに生きるタイプの後ろではない。リジェゴンはガチの生きる後ろだ。怒られるレベルの生きるをしてるから。
It's not the old he wanted. Either Mag there defensively.
Broken out of the mech now, still in the new form, and now we'll be taken back in towards Echo. Hoffman, self-destruct open, or available now to try to open up the final push. Right, disconnecting from the rest of the team. The fists up, trying to stay alive. Pulse bomb will be mitigated.
でもまたブチランってキツネが上がってるよ。ラウンドバレーが出てきたよね。プロパーがプロパーしてる。今まで返すかこれ。今まで返すか。プロパー。プロパーがプロパーしてるよ。Stalker dead in the back line. Pulse bomb lobbed in. Not going to be able to find anything as Hanbin just noms that one off. Finds the eat. For now, Runaway are holding them at bay.
This is a really good defense from Runaway, all things considered. I mean, especially considering that Lee Jae-gon died, they still were able to push them back. Prophet's down, however. Bit of a caster curse.
Lee Jae-gon in behind it though, but now Vigilante going to be joining.
だいぶ構成が長引いてます。
Runaway losing out on 2 players, and Lee Jae-gon that healing throughput not going to be too significant. So all of Runaway have to pull back, give up some more space so the cart can advance forward.
でもペイロードは進み始めた。
Double support ultimates about to be available here for the side of Falcons.
直前で止める構えに入って。
Here trying what he can, but he's just getting pushed into that corner.
サウンドバリをとスネード押していく押していく。ワンピック取れるか。できればマグを落としたい。マグがギリ耐えた。
They want to try to get this defense across here for the side of Runaway. Prophet taking down Hanbin, trying to get himself back into the mech. It's close, but back with the punch, able to find the kill, and now the beat is available here from Lee Jae-gon.
サウンドバリア温存して守りたいな。いやー温存したけど守れない。守れない。これ守れない。どうだ。25間に合うか。間に合った。危ない。このレースが怖いよな、リジェゴンは。リジェゴンまた落ちた。いやでもプロパーがすごいだけだよ、これは。プロパーがすごいだけだって、リジェゴンが悪いだけでは多分ないと思うんだけど。うわい完璧。プロパーがすごいよ、これ。
Slow and steady wins the race. Team Falcons holding the Diva until the end. But some incredible sticks from both DPSs here. It feels like I'm watching double Tracer like before they, implemented the hero limit, because we are seeing Echoes, dupe Tracers, and find those backline picks. And Lee Jae-gon, that pick, I mean, you called it out. he gets killed before he can sound barrier there. That is what they absolutely needed. And what he wanted to do was force the sound barrier. He's able to get a pulse and stick him and deny it outright. Then they're able to drop the bomb. And the bomb they always wanted to use to contest the final part of that push. When the bomb goes down, it's really difficult to mitigate with this composition. It's basically impossible. So when the bomb comes through, that's the cap if you have members on the point. And it was just a cherry on top there for Hanbin as everyone's just trying to rush back in. I mean, I want to give him credit for this, but it's really just Runaway trying their best to touch the cart and deny a few seconds or get the overtime finish. And he will pick up a 4K. I mean, his bomb was big, but that was like the least impressive thing what he did all map, because he maintained armor, his supports were keeping him healed up, and he's going to stick with his pick on the defense here as well. Similar story in terms of how much sustain they can actually put onto this diva, maintain armor, mitigate damage, and just slow Runaway down. Even if the cap comes through, they're just going to try to buy as much time as possible on the cart itself. We'll see if Runaway change anything up. The answer is no.
なんでハンビンがディーバを使ってるか俺にはよくわかる。
Corralled inside of the statue there for a brief little
やってる動
moment.
きはルームとボールの中間ぐらいの
Talking about, just trying to manipulate the movement of Hanbin is going to be so damn difficult for Mag.
Yeah, okay, they're going to get control of the point itself, though, and a retake is going to
ディ
be
ーバってもうちょい
attempted.
引き気味に守る
For
の
the
が
time being, Stalker being kept honest has to recall back
Where's
over
the
here to his
gun?
hotel. That's that mini pack to play around with here. As we can go toe to toe against Zest. Fielder Geo, however, tagged very low. Kill's not going to be found, however. So just some damage, but they'll just be able to heal that back up. As
デ
Zest
ィーバ守るの弱いこれ
constantly having a 180 here as Stalker
結構エリア管理がきつい
bashing
よ
in behind him.
半分まで取られる
Getting built up. Profit though. Take
それ
it
を
down.
プロパーで弾き返すのがいい
Proper's
ね
able to find the opening kill. That could very well just be the death sentence here
Diva
for this
compってもう
opening push from Runaway, and
基本
certainly will.
DPS で
It's
出るから
definitely going to be the end of that push. Hanbin mitigating so much damage with defense matrix, and Mag just
Diva
can't
がタンクを
compete.
取ってい
He's
る
not a
のは
ranged hero. I mean,
DPS をしっ
technically
か
he
り守
can
る構
left
成
click
だから
people, and do some damage from range, but like he's not really going to be able to offer
フォー
the
カスを
same
受けた
amount
プ
of
ロパー
damage
を
back.
3秒
So
間
when they
絶対に
trade
守
in
れる
these battles, it just gives so much of
そう
an
いう
angle
タン
for
クだから
Proper. So much damage goes into a defense matrix. Proper wins the Echo battle. He's
前
got
線を
duplicate
3秒
for
間
this
張ること
defense
じゃない
as
から
well. It's just so difficult for Zest and Profit to play around Mag in this
どうやったっ
Doomfist
てプロ
comp
パーは
against
これ
such a good
受けるの
diva. I mean, it's insane what Hanbin is doing. We
プロ
know
パーが
how
千代が
good this
最
guy
初
is
に
a
打たれる
diva, but I didn't expect to see it today.
We're already past the point here from when Team
Hanbin じゃな
Falcons
かった
count on their attack, so we'll be working with a lesser time bank for Runaway if they can get this cabin.
あまたリジゴン
JJ gone
はい
also
リジゴンやった
and of course he's going to be taken down. Hanbin able to find the kill, and now it's going to be ults abound from the side of Team Falcons. First one's going to be used, pulse bomb, not necessarily finding the kill, but getting some damage there across onto Mag, who then will be felled by the sticky bomb. Zest going to
リジゴン
be
やっ
taken
てる
down
な
as
こ
well.
れ
Five ults being built up here for the side of Runaway, but getting into a position to utilize them. That's what's proven to be
この
difficult.
差がね
Not to mention, they
こんな
also
に差が
have
出るので
to
ねサポート
play it into Sound Barrier, Kitsune Rush, like the ultimates that Falcons have because
プロ
they've
パー
been
はす
so
ごいのはす
efficient
ごいんだけど
themselves, and they've just been getting picked straight up.
別に
I
ゼ
mean,
ス
it's
ト
going
と
to
プロ
be
フェットが
tough
そこまで
for
ストーカ
Runaway
ー
to
とプロ
actually
パ
get
ー
the
に
sticking power. They have to be so efficient with how they
取
use
ってる
the
かという
Sound
とそ
Barrier.
ん
I
な
think
こ
they're
と
probably
ない
going to
の
have to use it second to
いや
Geo
むしろ
if
構
they
成
get
で
on
は
the
絶対
point.
勝ってるから
Okay,
さ
rush for rush going out on either side. Hanbin Son for a moment, taking down about half HP. Still has the self-destruct in the back
構成で
pocket.
勝ってる
It's a
の
real
に
rough situation. Profit holding on to the
ああ
Doom.
もう
He had a
ああ
stalker.
ゼスト持ってきた
Nearly
な
getting clipped there by Zest, but the kill just
3秒
cannot
剥
be
がした
found. Self-destruct now unleashed. It
リバック
forces them
剥
all
が
back.
せて
Mag with the fist up. Self-safe for the time being. Now takes the skies with a meteor strike. Doom actually comes in.
リココ
Not
ピー
the
流行ってん
but
の
Profit's going for that. Kiriko
リ
once
ココ
more.
ピ
He's
ー
trying to
っ
get
て
another
ス
Kitsune
ム
rush
ーズ
available. First tick,
の
getting ready to
って
come
何
through.
よ
The drip down. Actual contest there from
ギリサンドバレ入ったまたリジゴン残してるいややばいってこれ俺もよくやるけどダメだって
It
これ
might just be a full hold
リジ
here.
ゴン落ちたら
Kilios.
勝てないんだって
The
今の
attempt there for Mag to actually Ajax was
そういう
so
メタなん
good.
だ
If
か
he
ら
actually kills Geo, gets him out of the sound barrier there, if he has enough damage, then
でも
maybe
絶対
they
優
win
勝しん
that
じゃい
fight.
けない
He's
メタ
not
なの
doing anything to peel for Hanbin, who goes in there with the
頭文
DPS
が
line
求められ
and
る
rips
時代な
through
の
the back line of Runaway. Now they're ultless here. The Moira, just desperation. Maybe in a longer fight, you can build a coalescence. You've got that extra healing throughput, but this looks almost doomed at this point. It's going to take a miracle.
Yeah, I mean, Profit taking down the dupe, still in the back pocket here for Proper. He's going to be able to rip them to shreds. 25 seconds remaining, one last chance at a reset, but any additional staggers are going to be very deadly here for the side of Runaway, and Vigilante not in a good spot. Just fade his way back out to safety as Profit now swapping over onto the Widowmaker. Take down Chio, but has to go back over to the
Lijigo,
Echo.
いけ
10
リジゴン
seconds remaining. Chio going to be
いけリジゴン
somewhat soon. He can zip his way
多分
back
リジゴン
to the point, so it's a very narrow window to try to
今しかね
Hanbin.
えお前が攻めするのは今しかね
Take it down. Maybe we're not done yet. Hanbin eliminated the pulse bomb from Stalker, finding nothing. And with the overextension, with that one shot coming
移動もん
through,
な
Profit taking fate into his own
移動
hands, saying,
もん
I've
な
seen Carpe do this a million times. All I
移
need is
動もん
one.
なって言って
He
らっ
gets
しゃ
it.
るわ
Clutching it out here, Runaway, getting the cap here. Half the time bank to work with here at 230 that Team Falcons had in their bank, but see if they can actually make a heroic push here to bring us into overtime rounds. As Hanbin again sitting on that mech right now, about to or the remech rather, about to have self-destruct. They will be able to play around this choke point here post A and just kind of group and again just make this Phalanx-esque composition slow Runaway down so significantly, wearing down this Doomfist. If they play it right, it's going to take Runaway a really long time to get to B, and they just don't have time to work with.
No, they don't. I mean, this needs to be an absolute
ちょっと DJ 君考えなきゃいけないなこれ
way. As big punch through there from Mag. Suzu thrown down from Fieldage.
本当あのタイミングでも鈴入ってるそれぐらいサポートしなきゃいけない
Very
もう吉尾狙いに行ってる
identifies this though, slides away. So overall, proper buying some space, buying some time, and that is still critical here for
Yeah.
Falcons on this defense.
No, it absolutely is. Still, Coalescence ready to use to try to push
自
through
分
this.
が
So
知
they
ら
need
な
a
かった
pick.
試合は
It
勝て
needs
る
to be
こと
Mag
で
who
すよ
sets it up.
Kitsune Rush available, and obviously Vigilante having swapped over for the Moira and Desperation does have that.
生きてダメージ出したけど死んだ試合は絶対勝てない
His own Kitsune Rush to try to match with. So Cole now going to be coming through. He's getting dove on into the back line, but while he's staying alive, at the
ま
same
た
time,
リーチェゴン
he's
だ
gonna
これはもうしょうがないけど
be melted down before he can get that sound barrier up. So Falcons going to win the fight. He'll be able to do so's profit.
吉尾フォーカスに差なのかな
Mech. Mag dropping down here near the archway to safety with the meteor strike. So a
フォーカ
reset
スの
for
差と
Side
生
of
存
Runaway
能
with
力の
1
差は
minute remaining.
The tracking on DJ Gon to make
DJ
sure he
が悪い
gets
のか
Summer in these fights has just been
アル
so
ゴンってうまい
clean.
のか
Front to back is excellent,
どっちかわかん
and
ないけ
Mag, once again, just kind of left out to
ど
dry.
ちら
They're
に
going
せ
to
よ
commit
リ
that
ーチェゴ
barrier
ンが死にすぎ
now.
ってい
One
う
last
結果は
chance
変わらない
here.
から
On
こ
the
れ
backside,
改善しないと
ready from either of these
ここ
tracers.
戦えないかもしれない
Could lead to a crucial opening as Sass just track Stalker there for a bit. He loses him in the fight.
そういう意味ではハンビの D バーっていうのは理屈にあったかもしれないから
HP bars right now getting whittled away out
理にかなってる可能性はあるよ
right there onto the little
当たり
doorway.
事故が死んでる
Not able to find any eliminations, but Mag will clean up Stalker on the back end. Self-destruct still going to be used here from Hanbin.
ルシオ死ななきゃいいんだったら絶対ルシオ死なせない
Zest will be able to collect
なん
the
か使え
kill.
ばいいんだ
Yeah, but if a whoopsie there, I think on the remake, perhaps some miscommunication on whether they were going to continue to contest there. That's going to be a tool they don't have. And that's going to allow Runaway to maybe get some additional time here as they reach B, but
あったりするのか
still, it's a far cry from C, okay? We're taking every overtime finish that we can get at this point, but Runaway, let's see if Mag can set something up here. He's actually
クラッキー
lurking
だから
on a
絶対フィル
flank.
ダーモイラしてくると思ったんだよ
Spotted.
Yeah, I mean, just a bit of a pre-fire, honestly, Stalker. Just knowing tendencies of these players. This team Falcons trying to come back in here for one last chance, but now Stalker dead. Is that dead? This one comes in for Vigilante. He
Never
cleans
say
up
never.
Gio. Been taken down, and now it's going to be that minute and a half added to the time bank here for the side of Runaway.
One overtime finish at a time. That's what we're looking at here for Runaway. They want their
Gio は
third
絶対
here.
にファーストデート
80
しないもんね
seconds left on the clock, and Team Falcons still sticking with this diva. I don't know if it's 100% the correct call at this moment in time on the final push here. But Hanbin, one of his best heroes, and he's going to stick with it regardless. It's just not really utilized the same way on C as it is on the other points. Kind of put some high ground pressure on it, as we can see here. And just try to push back Mag, who will have that meteor strike, but he won't be able to use it to contest C very likely if they force it out early. So he needs to try to hold on to this, because that's what they need to actually get the finish itself
And the
against
big
the
thing
lane.
that they're lacking right now is going to be the support elements. Falcons, however, about to have both of theirs available. Fields are already with the Kitsune Rush in his back pocket. Gio now sound barrier online. Vigilante can get that coalescence up very quickly. We saw what kind of value he can get from it in the last fight. Can he do that again?
Yeah, that's the real
A
question.
bit unlikely, just given the spacing here on point C. Mag, corner here as he tries to stay alive. He gets right into the Kitsune Rush comes in and run away. Drop back, just trying to stay alive, not wanting to suffer any additional losses here. 5 seconds now, remaining on the clock. Profit taken down as Profit finds the kill.
ダブルトレーサーシステム発動
They got to reset. They got to reset as soon as possible. It's 15 seconds left.
False mistake this time. Lee J. Gone not going to be able to get caught by this one. Vigilante hoping to break proper out of that too. Now they're right back into the fight. The Coalescence leading the charge. The fade forward, just getting around the corner, looking for some additional damage. Overtime going to be forced out. Down there in from Gio. Lee J. Gone, his own beat available online. Needs to drop this one in somewhat soon. Decides to pull the trigger on it. All 5 members Receiving the
今の
shields,
動きはな
push
かな
around
か
the
でき
back,
ん
the pulse bomb in, Hanman gonna be broken out of the mech, this time does not have the self-destruct, try to buy some more time.
イジェゴンがキル取ったで
Still
も
so very far to go here from Runaway, but now
まだワンチャンある
they've broken open the defenses
I mean,
just a bit.
this, they might be able to do this. I mean, they could just stop the spawns here. Look at the positioning of Mag. They're
One
going to
shot
split out the
out,
other
one
side
night.
here. One more contest.
Stalker has this pulse bomb, says just
そ
let
うかな
this
パラス
go.
ボムだけお
Being
互い
kept honest for the time being, Zestro
互い
hound him down and profit with a headshot.
あー
By
ルチオが落ちた
Geo,
これチオ落ちたらやばいぞ
70% HP remaining for him as Hanman makes his way back over to keep this card
ね
contested.
決ま
But
ったか
for now,
も
it's
しれない
inching forward, getting closer and closer. 3 meters left to go.
チオが落ちたらもう無理やり踏むしかない
Held, let loose, kill.
そうかもうワンピック取れないいやー終わった
He gets taken down.
ゴールだ
The
ね
baby diva swiftly dealt with, proper low on HP, but Prophet as well at the same time. Taken down. The sustain is coming through. Geo cleaned up. Stalker gonna be taken out by the seismic slam.
チオ落としたら勝てるんだよ
My God.
チオが落ちないんだよヒーターだから
I just did not see it, Achilles. I did not think we were
ほん
going.
とそれだけ
A minute added to the clock for Runaway. Now it's just 12 seconds the difference
I
as they
did-
somehow persevere to the end.
I just
とても
did
簡
not
単
see
な
it. I didn't see
簡
it.
単だけど
I
難しい
did
話
not have my telescope out. I was not looking through it. But, you know, if you're a Runaway fan, are you really going to
後ろ
enjoy
が死なな
taking
き
a
ゃ
map
5
off
人で
Team
動けるけど
Falcons if you didn't have to
後ろ
do
が
it
死ん
in
だ瞬
a
間にばらけるん
massive
だよね
overtime push? Now, I'll give credit where it's due to Runaway. Fantastic
No,
push there. They
後ろ
stayed
の
better
範疇
coordinated
から
in
離
that
れて
final push than I think they
自
have
分
in
のしたいことに
the rest of the other two
離れてい
maps.
た
I
いな
mean, the first half of this map and the previous one. But there were some serious mistakes by the Falcons. Hanben as well, dropping his self-destruct there instead of using it for the final contest on C. Made it feel like he thought it was a foregone conclusion. Looking for a few weird remix and self-destructs there that cost them big in terms of contesting the actual points themselves. And Falcons definitely getting a little bit sloppy. And then once Hanben got disconnected there, Falcons could never really regroup as 5 use this comp the way they were using it on the attack and for most of the defensive A and B because they were too split. And that's when Runaway's DPSs really came online and started to shine through
団長は
there.
生きてなきゃいけない
Mag also playing a little bit more with his teammates there on that final push as well. And now it's anyone's game to take, frankly.
なんでこれディーバーと下がって
It
るの
really
Could
is.
even be a draw.
I mean, Vigilante saying, hey, you know what? This Moira thing working out for me, so I'm just going to keep running this one. His Prophet going to be looking for another headshot, but this time it's just going to be met with a mech. Mag now swapping
Oh,
over
Queen
actually to the Junker Queen. When they
think it's
have
a
a
good-
bit more forward presence.
Yeah.
And I like this. I think this fits in with the Moira a hell of a lot more than the Doomfist does.
Exactly, and it's going to allow you to potentially have some additional pick power. One tick, you'd feel great about that. They're going to have to contest.
Yeah, any kind of pick that they can find could be the undoing of either team. Prophet could be taken low once more. Down to half HP. Mag, very much the same.
シャウト吐き待ちだよね
Fielder
クリアペップ踏みな
very
がら
quickly building up though. Nearly 50%, but a tick is going to be gained here for the side of
お
Runaway.
互い我慢だよね
Now even more. As Falcons
シャウト
back
吐いた
away
ら
off
絶
the
対キル
point,
取んなきゃいけないから
back up to full HP.
リーバーが踏みながらシャウト吐くの延々と待ち
See, all
続
the
けて
healing is
る
going to Hanben to try to maintain that armor, but he's losing out very quickly here.
Proper, however,
Giri
speeding
point
his way
ka
up
muna
towards that dupe. 84%. Very rapidly having this one online, but the second ticket's now going to be
Bakit
coming in.
na
5
salto,
seconds
basta
remaining here for Runaway on the attack, and they make it happen. The push back in.
Salto,
on
hide,
point,
ko-
again,
ここが全て
90% now built up here, but there's the duplicate. Proper goes for this Junker Queen. Immediately backpedaling, looking for a target. The knife goes in. He fight, man.
このジャンカークイーンコピーはでかい
Initial
な
kill now coming across this field against the Tsunami Rush online. Stalker setting up the pulse bomb. Unable to find anything, but in the follow-up fight, does take down Vigilante. Mag, however, knife in, takes out the Baby Diva, tries to keep him alive in this fight as Lee J gone, taken so low. Eventually, does get dropped.
いや
Let
ー
down in the end.
あ
And
の
now
プロ
Mag
パー
will
のジャンカー
fall
クイーン
to
コ
the
ピー
cap.
もう勝負決まっ
Bridge
たな
too far, but 90.9%. Runaway in with a shot, but Falcons with a win condition.
Trusting Proper's Echo
あれで
and trusting the dupe
ジャン
was
カークイー
a
ンコピ
great
ーして
decision from Team
サブト
Falcons.
切っ
Well,
たから
at
その
the
瞬
end
間
of the day,
に
we could
勝
say
ちが
that,
決まり
right?
だよ
Retroactively, we could say it was. At that moment, when he committed to the dupe and stole Mag's Junker Queen, I thought that was going to be the thing we were talking about after this when
この
Runaway
タイ
get
ミン
a
グで
push
あ
all
の
the way
判
to
断が
B
できる
because
のは
they
もうめ
contest
ちゃめちゃセンス
fail
いるよね
and actually end up losing so much time that they're
適当に
almost
タン
doomed
ク
on their attack.
ビット
They
系
clutch it
の
out
ノリ
in
な
the
の
end.
か
It
も
was
し
a
れないんだ
very
けど
risky decision, but it
ジャン
pays
カ
off
ー
for
ク
them
イーンの
massively
シャウ
because
ト
now
っ
all they
て
have to do is capture A
多分
essentially
今の
just
メ
the
タの中
last,
で
you know what,
後ろのアン
9.1%
プぐらい
of the point. And they win
Gotta
it. I mean, they don't even have to get that last 9.1. They only get
オーバーウォッチ界
to win it. But you know
2
what
番
I'm
目
saying?
に
It was
キャットの
basically
高
a
いスキ
cap
ル
for
だから
Runaway, no distance. And Falcons with a full cap will be able to
これをコピって一瞬で使うんだったら
We'll see if this push goes as well as it did the last time around. It's a very slow one. Hanman going around the edge onto the high ground. As a swap
それは
here
にクイー
to
ンか。
Sombra
さすが
Tracer
に
for
オリーサは出
Runaway
ない
on
か。
the defense. Gonna need Jagon to
ロベッ
taxi them
ト、
back in here. They'll be here in
トングラ
time, but
この形出してるシーンもあった
this is
な。
one of those
シックでも。
ult-based defenses where your goal is to build EMP, have one EMP fight, and you win the map. It's very all in, but it's very risky because it doesn't have the same backbone, the same power that an Echo composition does. You can't dupe to get a second tank, for example. Risky here from Runaway.
I mean, the communication, the coordination between Prophet and Cess needs to be. It's going to be paramount here. Fielder as well.
They're going to scout and
Similarly about
change.
the Moira, he's going to be swapping over. Hanbin.
クイーン対決だったら、まず半分勝
The
つ。
Moira orbs start flying already. Spam coming in. Much
マグ
damage
のジャンカクイーンじゃまず勝てない。
bringing out the Genji as well.
プロバもゲージです。
Wanting to brawl, wanting to work their way forward onto this point with brute force. See if they're
よ
going
ほ
to
ど
be
の
able
ファインプレー
to
が起きなくて、これ間違いなく
Their first
軽
touch
く
here
勝つよ。
test. Now coming in.
ファインプレーをコピー
Taking
する
low,
か
the
ら。
shout out from Hanbin, just offering up an extra bit
そう
of
だ、一回
grenade
ナイスの
where
でかい。
possible as the knife pulling back forward, taking him so damn low.
タイムか、
Goes
タイム
back
か。
inside of the hotel.
ギリいけ
Some
残った
lot。of time being here, but Falcons are occupying this point consistently, nearly getting up to that first tick, and there it is. It's going to be locked in. Not much closer to closing this one out, but Prophet.
ストーカーが落ちた。やばいやばいやばい。
Taking him down, but
あ、でも
now
ジェス持った
Sensei spread it out. Both Tracers now going to be on the
License
button.
is up.
License built up here.
フィールドが上がる。
Fielder, but now Vigilante with one of his own. We get the DBZ
どこまでも上がる。
across on both sides, and now the sound barrier coming
チオだけ生き残らせろ。チオ死ぬな。チオ死ぬな。
He's going to have a delayed one.
Oh man.
Up and alive would be absolutely huge because that rampage is nearly online.
チオが生きてるもワンテンある。はい、これ。いやー、パルスボムストーカー。なくても勝ってるか。なくても勝ってるけど。
He's dead as it comes through, and Falcons looking so damn close. But they will barely scrape by with the map win here on
モイラ
King's Road to
の
move up
コアレ
2-0.
スセンスを上げるために
Insane
トップの
series this has been
ヒー
so
ローをあんまり
far.
回せなかったチオ
Incredibly close, and I think some of them might be looking a little bit closer at their power rankings
お互い
after
サポ
watching
ート
these
を
two maps that
ガ
we
ンガン
just
ヒール
witnessed.
して
Because to say that it's a
日々
2-0
耐え抜
here
いた
for
か
Team
ら
Falcons doesn't tell the
サポート
story
2サポー
of
ト
the
ともアルティメッ
incredible
トが上がっ
resilience
た
Runaway showed on their overtime push, the composition they were able to run there, a risky
DJ
one
Vigilante
to try to look
みたいな
for the defense. It did not work out, and we were basically 5 to 10 seconds away from this being a completely different story. If that EMP builds just a little bit
本
faster,
当
you
救い
were
の手
able
の
to
サウン
use
ド
that
バリアに
against
しかなら
Gio's
なか
sound
ったけ
barrier
ど
because he had to use it so early. If the rampage isn't as perfect
要は
as it was there, because that was such a
フォ
sick
ーカス
angle
受け
from
かかった
Hanbin,
時
he had
ギリ
several
生き残
players
っ
pushed
て
them away.
あのタイミ
I
ン
mean,
グ
we could have
で
looked at a
ス
very
マホの
different
スマホ
result.
じゃないハンビン
But
の
at
生
the
き
end of
残
the
った
day, Team Falcons hold
あれ
strong,
はフィールダー
unique
の力なん
diva
だよね
composition there.
フィールダーがここ2人を殺さなかったからサウンドバリアと
just because I wanted to cast King's Row, I didn't know the
ランペー
King's
ジ
Row we
が
were gonna get.
使えたっ
Yeah,
てい
I
う
mean, so much closer than we thought, but we're going to go to a quick little break. Never mind, we're back on camera.
I think to
だ
send it
か
to
ら
break.
サポートが優秀
Okay.
すぎる
Well, hi.
プロフィール
we
ダ
are
ーが
gonna
と
go
に
to a
かく
break.
優秀す
Players,
ぎ
they
て
need some reprieve, as do we
やばい
after these two crazy maps. When we come back, though, Falcons, we'll see if they're going to be able to close this out with a 3-0. Another maybe close map
同時に
there.
生き残ってる
I
ス
think
マ
it's
ホ
going to be
も
pushing on the horizon, but we'll
多分
find
キ
out in a
ル
bit.
ダメージ
So,
出してる
believe, don't go
ロ
anywhere.
パもやばいんだけど
Okay,
そうか
bye.
最初死んじゃった
Bye.
からあれ
Going
だ
to a break.
いやーこのルシオ大事なメタ面白いなちょっとトイレ行きます 戻りましたよーっと。ああ、どうすりゃいいんだろこれ。あ、はい。美人そうだな。おかしいな。ここで明らかにサポートの差が出るんだね。顕著だな。リュチェゴンのファーストですが、何の要因で起きてるのかを、ちゃんと、ウォッチャー見てるかどうかだね。これさえしなかったら、他のエンゲージは、割といいとこ行ってんだよね。負けちゃいねえ。ハンビン D バ使ってるし。どちらにせよジャンカークイーン出したらジャンカークイーン出されてじゃんけん負けして終わるから手詰まりではあったんだけど、実際ペイロードは最後まで運べてるし、もうちょっと何なのかな。で10問フィストの時ってタンクに守ってもらえる仕様っていうところでもないしな。まあ、じゃあマグがもうちょっとエリア広げられるのかと言われたらそんなこともない気がするし。じゃあビジランテがどれぐらいルシオのカバーをできてるのかっていうところとか。まあ、まずウルトの上がる速さ的にヒールダーよりビジランテの方が速いから、全体的に言えば間違いなくヒール量としては合ってる気がする。ヒールっていうところで言うと仕事量はしてんのかもしれないけど、変な言い方をするとヒールに追われてる可能性もあるよね。オーバーウォッチのサポートにおいてヒールに追われていいキャラクターなんていないわけで、ライフビーバーぐらいかな。ライフビーバーはヒールに追われる定めにあるから、あれはいいのかな。ただヒールと自分が逃げることだけ考えてれば、ほぼ100吐き出せるキャラクターではあるからいいんだけど、他のヒーローってヒールしてるだけじゃ仕事にならないっていうのがまずあるから、ビジランテ視点も見て、どのぐらいヒールをして、どのぐらいダメージを出して、どのぐらいフルを的確に使えてるか、死んでないか、後ろのカバーに入れてるか、もう反省会は必要かな。 想像よりもランナウェイはアルコンドに食いついてる気はする。もっと圧勝になってもおかしくない、このチームなら。まあだからハンビンがチャンカークイーン最初から出してたら多分もっとポロ負けなんだけど、なんかディーバで遊んでたから、ディーバで遊んでるうちにもうちょいうまいことやれたと思う。ここはなんだろうな。まあプロパーがプロパーしてるのはもう止めようがないからね。だから逆にそんなにプロパーがプロパーしてないっちゃしてないんだよ。想像以上に。意外とプロパー今回暴れてねえなっていう印象を周りで受けるぐらいだね。もうちょっとなんかメタメタの交互にするかと思って。プロヘッドぐらいだ。
Awesome opening series here between the Falcons and Runaway. Yes, the scoreline is 2-0. Yes, Team Falcons very well could just close this out with a 3-0, but it has been anything other than boring because good God, the scoreline not telling the story. If you're just now tuning in, I mean, if you're on YouTube, you could rewind, but obviously the game's about to start, so just wait and kind of do it in between the next break, I guess, because it's been close.
It's been close, and I think a lot of this is Runaway being clutch, and I think that's a really good sign for a roster like this early on in the season. And a lot of it was Falcons making some mistakes, and I think definitely, especially on the Kings Row, like the second phase of it, the second round, when they were trying to defend, like there were some really awkward moments, so they could have been a lot more efficient. But either way, they get it done in the end. As we're going to Esperanza for push here, so we'll see what is played. This is the pick of Falcons, as New Queen Street was banned by Runaway. You know, we obviously we did. I don't know if we mentioned that Hanbin is back out and Smurf is back in, but
we didn't.
But that did happen. It was on your screen, so I think we're probably just going back to a little bit more standard here. We have seen some Wrecking Ball in Japan on this. Ramatra, I know a lot of people wondering where that pick is. It hasn't really been played that much in Korea. It's not really that meta here, so I don't think we're going to see it today, and I don't think we're going to see it on push.
Yeah, I mean, even just generally across all of the regions that we've been seeing, Ramatra, I think, has cropped up maybe once. So it's been very few and far between. I mean, the days of Ramatra dominance kind of gone. Maybe if we went over to like the monastery for escort, maybe that's where we might see Ramatra come in. If that still is strong,
I think it could be okay on some control maps as well, but
widely, yeah, not seeing too much presence of that one. But we have Smurf coming back through. Obviously, no changes here for the side of Runaway. Are just this 5-man core. I mean, I guess Runner could maybe insert himself into the team if he really wanted to.
I'd love to see it, but I don't think we will.
It's like, Lee Jae, that's not how you run it down. Let me show you how you run it down.
Oh, too real. Too real, too real.
But we'll see.
Give me that bumper, Lucio. Where's bumper?
さて始まります。
Mag, you know, touted to be kind of the next coming of Bumper.
また
and didn't
ジャパニーズ
really
シーンで
for a
は
really long
な
time.
んたら
Of
構
course,
成
went
なんた
over
ら
to the
構成って言って
Overwatch
る
League
けど、
and was a pretty strong player there, right? But I feel like the tank matchup has been where Falcons would
今
find
年
the
ブラ
most
ザーズはどうなっ
consistent
てんだよ。
success. But proper, man, on King's Row, he wasn't playing Tracer, but he might have been the best Tracer on the
フィ
server.
ルダー嫌いトラブルか。もういいよ。フィルダーいなくていいよ。
That is the thing when you go for the Echoes. Even though we're not seeing him play Tracer straight out the gate, which is something that I should have considered, given that Stalker is, you know, in that DPS lineup alongside him. He does go for those dupes often, and we are seeing him find immense amount of values. I mean, even as quickly as you normally would build up a pulse bomb, he's getting them so rapidly when he's in that dupe form. But we have a bit of an audio issue, it seems like, on stage, and we'll be working through that, and then hopefully
そんな
getting
に
into
弱くは
this
ねえわ。
potentially third and final map very quickly.
Yeah, it seems like Fielder has a audio issue at the moment, so once we fix his audio issue, we'll be jumping into it very shortly. But man, it is so fun to have Tana Overwatch players on stage in front of a sold-out crowd, and
さすがに。
You know, I feel like I have to eventually promise to
韓
stop
国代
talking
表、
about
準
this
韓
after,
国代
but
表みたいな
for the first day, I think I'm allowed to say it like every single time there's any sort of
まあ
delay.
ラノベ間違いなく日本代表より強いでしょ。
I'm happy.
Yeah, we've been through the ringer. I mean, I still remember the long pause of season 2 Kong Du Panther.
バーレルをボッコボコにするぐらいの実力は。
I believe it was.
Yeah.
Talked about everything and anything and everything during that time, but hopefully not going to be the case. And right now, looking like it won't
バレ
be.
ルは
Because,
片腕で
shot, I think that we are
ひ
one
ねら
step
れて終
closer
わ
to
る。
getting in the game.
Yeah. 50-50 chance. Okay.
Okay, we've got it. So here we go.
だからバレル
Esperanza to
と
see
同じ
if
ぐらいの
Runaway
実力があ
can
る
pick
チーム
up
が
a
日
map
本に
here
出
in
て
this
こない
opening series,
日
or
本シーン
Falcons
の
are going to be able to run away with it.
未来は
With a
ない。
2-0.
You mean a
だから日本シーン見てないんだけど
It
ね
is a 2-0 at the moment.
バレルが
That's why
負け
I
る
was
まで
reading it and
絶対
then
日
just
本シーン
talking.
見ないっていうな
You had a
ナ
really
メクジ
challenging
ブラザーズも
play-by-play moment there at the end of King's
ナメ
Row.
クジブラザーズのやつらを知ってるから
Where you had to cast
も
a
とも
team
と
fight
ライフ
that
イーバ
lasted, I feel like 3 minutes
で
long.
試合やりますって
That was really
言
fun.
ってたのを知ってる
Nothing
か
we
ら
aren't used to over here in Korea.
あいつがライフイーバー戦っていうのを知ってるから
I mean, I'm
そう
cool
いう
with
知識があ
it.
るだ
I'm
けで
chilling. The challenge for me in those long fights is to remember what happened is going to be the compositions we saw in
一切試合を見て
Control
ないから
with Doomfist, so Echo Tracer,
細かな情報だ
and
け入って
Smurf
る
crushed this matchup last time. He's
I
coming
know.
back into play it a second time here. Very different though on
韓国メタっ
push
て
and
ね
control because
一番
yes, you do have to capture the
この
objective and fight
強い
for
ん
it,
だけ
but
ど
it's a lot more angles of attack.
間違いなく一番すげえやつが集まるんだけど一番メタが固まりやすいんだよおースマフマイ
Punch and Lee Jae-gon got to be taken down off the rip. Mag now having to backpedal, punch through. You're on a vigilante, and without the TP, he cannot get out to safety. Crawford finds Zest in the meantime off screen. The push will now begin here for Falcons.
Yeah, one of the best targets for the Doomfist on this patch is going to be the Lucio every time, and we've seen both of these Doomfists fish for it, but Smurf has been a little bit more successful at actually turning that into eliminations, and that's going to be a pretty nice push for them to start things off.
Yep, about halfway now towards that checkpoint here.
奇抜なメタだったり
See what Runaway can do to get themselves
OTP
back
中
into
心
a
の
position to actually contest this one. For now, everybody kind of lingering quite far behind as far as Ultra is concerned.
いわゆる
Zest, who's
サウジアラビアのヤザンみたいなああいうプレイヤーがいるチームってなかなかいないからさ
Yeah, Zest
韓国シーン
looking for that
みんな
not
トップクラスだから
successful. As
みんな
Smurf
余計な
goes
攻撃
pretty
しないんだよ
low, we'll need a lot of resources actually to hold on to this push.
up here onto the high ground.
プロッパークラスの選手を抱えてると割とこういう構成をした方が強かったりするから去年のショックなんかちょっとやってたしねサウジ構成をサウジアラビアって予選ヤザンっていうまあおそらく世界一のパラエコー使いがいたんだけどそいつがなんかちょっと悪いことして試合に出れなくなっちゃって予選はその試合出れたんだけどケビスターとか率いるフィンランドをボッコボコにしてたからケビスターのリードに勝ってるからねあいつのファラは
Sound barrier and Kitsune Rush, so both support ultimates, one above Runaways for this one, but again, this is not really an ult-based composition necessarily. It's all about how you play around this fist and whether you can get back line access with your Tracer. Eyes on fielder here to see if he wants to commit that rush. That is the ult
メタ構成が最適解じゃない可能
at the
性が
moment. I'm sure the Korean casters are talking about it because it's the big edge they have. There it is.
もう韓国人ってそれを割と嫌う傾向にあるからメタ構成はもうメタ構成で戦おうとするから
So far the only one as well because the beam just a little bit disconnected there, unable to find
自
the
分の
tag.
チームだけの独特なカラーとか絶対出さないから
But instantly broken out of that dupe is Profit, but it might not matter. Mag getting on top of Stalker, able to find a little bit of
昔の
red there, but then
ニコとかそうだったんだ
trading
よ
out on the Echo.
みんな知らないと思うけど
The kill. But
昔のニコはトレーサーしかできなかったんだから
pull away for a brief little moment here, give some space up over to the side of Team Falcons as they wait for the
フリータンクメタなのでトレーサーやったんだから
once again start pressing forward.
今トレーサー弱えよってみんなに言われながらトレーサーやったんだよ
Great
ベ
play
スト
from
強
Zest has the recall, so can chase to guarantee the kill onto Proper. They're Proper not going to try to dupe for survival. That's a lost fight. Runaway will actually take the lead here in distance now. Falcons kind of reeling from that last fight, and Smurf getting caught there on the end of it. That was really the breaking point, and Runaway following up very well. The coordination started to really come together here. Perhaps some nerves on control with some of the misplays we were seeing. Lee Jae-gon, see if he gets caught again. He has been the target of Falcons in
本当
almost
に
every
日本
single one
人
of
で
their
ピックプー
successful
ル
team
広かっ
fights.
たのは太陽君ぐらいなんだよね。
Will be found another pulse bomb.
太陽君は本当
Back pocket for the time being as the bot's so
日本の界隈では今のスマホじゃないや
for the side of runaway.
今のプロパーぐらい暴れてたからね。
Backing off for the time being is good damage out here on the stalker, dashing back though.
太陽っていう存在が一人のヒーローだっていう6対7で戦っているって言われてたけど、
Here for the Doomfist, getting the punch there to isolate the Jae-gon.
太陽が太陽っていうヒーローとトレサーっていうヒーローを使ってるって
As
言わ
he
れてた。
does, the pulse bomb is there on his rear. He ends up getting taken out, but it's going to be traded at the same time. Proper nearly broken out of that dupe and is so support for a tank, but Mag now finding Proper on the back end means it's going to be a 2-for-1 trade up overall here for Runaway, who are once again moving that bot forward. The checkpoint this time should be taken.
That's a trade you'll take as Runaway. You know, if you lose Smurf as Falcons, it's really hard to actually stick to the point. So they actually get the Tracer back so quickly. And oh, Zest, speaking of Tracer, going to take his opponent out. And Runaway, they win another fight basically just off that alone. Smurf super low. They have to back off.
A good pick, another stun there off the punch from Mag. Just actually really finding his targets this time around.
まあ結果論だから、
It's so
結
snowballing.
果論だし俺韓国大っ嫌いだから、
of these comps. I mean, they're mirror comps,
勘
of
違い
course,
しないで
but
ほ
if
しい
you
んだけど、
lose your tank or if you lose one of your DPS members, you just don't have the
韓国っ
ability
て
to
国は大っ
prolong
嫌い
the
だから、
fight unless
韓
you
国
have
って国は大っ
ultimate
嫌いだ
damage.
から、
So picks are super important, and
っていう
Lee Jae-gon's
前
been
提
picked
を
a
しと
few
いて、
times, but so has Smurf.
多分ワー
He's
ルド
been
カップ
overextending a few times, Mag. You need some healing here.
That he
なん
does,
てい
but
う
he's in too
の
deep.
このメタでやりますって言っ
So
て
he ends up getting picked
全員
off. So
連れてきて
checkpoint
半年練習したら
on top of
間
it,
違いなく韓国が勝
As
つ。
Runaway will have to pull back, but they're going to have some forward spawns here for Mag at least to try to rejoin. We'll see if Zest can
この
get
メタ
through
で
there
ぜ
in time as well.
この構成じゃない、このメタでって言ったらもうそのメタが固定されて研究され尽くしてっていうのを韓国絶対やるから、
Smurf
そしたらサウジアラビアに勝ち目なんか
hold
ない。
on to this push as long as
中国にも
possible.
勝ち目ない。
Prophet will be able to dupe. And you know he might even want to dupe Smurf on this next
そういう
fight.
やり
Have
方をしたら
so
絶対に韓国
much
勝
of
つ
an advantage here.
これがメンバー選ばれたからメタが2つも3つも変わるから、これは
See what he decides to
大
do
将も
because
困
I
るわ
think
っていう。
his choice is going to
どうしよう
define this next attack for Runaway.
More ults being built up.
だからポーク構成うまいやつを別に韓国人連れてきてねえんだっていう。
Proper last one to get it from Falcons. Vigilante just a little bit further behind though towards that next Kitsune
あ
rush.
プロパス連れてこない
Playing
な、
it
もうプロパ
slow,
本人
actually
が悪い
grabbing。back control of the cart, and I mean this is looking good for them.
This kind of works in their favor here. Building was first on that Kitsune rush. Now that it gets popped here, Stalker finding Zest instantly. Proper going to be taken out of his dupe, taken down. This is just going to be the DPS here from Falcons. Taking out their counter very swiftly. Side forward, looking for a little bit more. Vigilante with sliver of HP narrowly stays alive. But Lee Jae-gon in the meantime still was far forward. Ends up getting picked. So Falcons now being able to get the checkpoint here for themselves. They bring it back
とりあえずポイ
dangerously
ントまでは
close.
いけると。
Yeah, very expensive team fight loss there for
次
Runaway,
多分
dropping out
ハルカの
Mag and
4
Prophet's
個ウルトがあ
ultimates
る。
there, and the dupe just instantly deleted. Very uncoordinated
純
for
粋なウル
Runaway
トの
getting
個
the
数の
sound
パワ
barrier
ーで
to
言
keep
った
them
ら
alive there. I like the slow push until then, but now they're just really getting rolled.
Zest nearly eliminated there as the
一つのウル
refocus
トを
time
ミスなく
was
犯し
in
て
his hand.
したいけど、
Proper once
サウン
again.
ドバリアを完全に透かされた。
Putting another tracer here into the mix. The dash forward.
爪も透かされた。
Looking for some damage, but now the
完全
pocket
に
is
引き
being
切った
brought back. Still 18 meters separating these two teams.
ここからウルト返していけば勝ってる。
Geo.
なんなら温存できる。
Gonna be taken down. Stalker finding that kill. Pulse bomb going through. Mag taken out. Lee Jae-gon dead as well.
ダブルトルさせる。
Falcons just sweep him under the rug. Zest the only one left standing there at the end of it all.
I mean, you could steal a tracer, or you could steal a
Sound
enemy
barrier
Doomfist, right? But if you take the
ところを
tracer, the
あえて
ceiling is so high, and he's hitting it every single
すぎず
time.
耐えて
It steals Zest and becomes a
運営
tracer.
の
He's
時
getting
にしっ
super
か
high
りさ
value, winning these team fights almost single-handedly.
Immense amount of impact being found there.
あうまいよね。
Gain for Falcons.
クラスティの
Looking for
多
a
分
bit more
コー
here.
チングがう
3
まいんだろう
meters
ね。
separating, but Runaway with time dwindling down to 2.5 minutes. Need to gain control. They have a long ways to push now. Meteor strike in the back line, looking for a kill. Nothing to be found there. Just out the safety. Gets a big knockback there onto Lee
まあ
Jae-gon.
だから
Not
言われ
find the
て当たり前っ
eliminations.
ちゃ当たり前の動きなんだけど、
Hanging
その当たり前の動きを
His fielder gets closer and closer to
韓
that
国
next
人
Kitsune
は
rush. We've seen how
コミュニケーションな
impactful
しで
they've
取
been
る
here
か
for the side of Falcons.
ら。で
Vigilante, everything to do to try to catch up in that regard. Rush now online. The heels coming across. Kitsune Rush going to be popped. Single pushing forward. Mag here on the flank. Now he can rejoin into the rest of the team, but he's going to be taken low. And he's taken down. Smurf able to find the kill before the meteor strike could come in to try to take him out to safety. Prophet now taken out of the skies. Up over the top goes Proper, looking for a little bit more. Vigilante a bit elusive, but then
They're just going to try to push him.
あんまり喋ってないとちょっと配信見てると結
Yeah,
構いる
full
もん。
push and try to keep him in the spawn. I mean, they're just going to get additional distance, even if they don't complete the
アメリ
map.
カ
They're
人
just
は
going to
もう
buy so
間違い
much
なく
time
喋って
here,
る。
and the distance that Runaway has to cover is just so great with only 95 seconds left.
ハニーアストロと
It is a tough
かアメリカ人じゃ
game
ない
to
けど。
win here. Mag looking for the flank.
穴をした時すげえリアクションする。
Good movement, a good punch, but unable to get Stalker into the wall to find the stun, so follow up not going to be there. So full push not coming to fruition, at least quite yet. A minute and 20 seconds remaining now as Runaway to try to regain control. Sound barrier used though from the side of Falcons. They want to turn the tides here. This Prophet instantly once again going to be taken out of that dupe and denied access to the Mega Pack. He ends up
アメリカってコミュニケーションエラーが起きない。
causing disruption with that
コミュニケーションをひたすらするから。
forcing the members of Runaway away from each other.
Runaway.
Bomb out from Stalker, not able to find anything proper with his duped one looking for a kill. Comes up a bit short, but Chio finding Vigilante now. He can rush, not into the fight.
コミュニケーションの取り忘れで起きるミスって絶対にない。
Punch in,
絶対とは言い切れない。韓国に比べたら間違いなく低い。
I mean, he's just getting crushed. Yeah, he's getting crushed, and Runaway are just not able to group correctly here.
その代わりアメリカ人はコミュニケーション取らないと
just continue
わ
to
からないって
grow
いう
as you
文化だ。
get
アメリ
further
カ
and
人と
further
いうか
staggered. Then Prophet doesn't have any
欧米
support,
の
so he
文化
gets
だ。
picked again. And they're just
言わ
not
なきゃわ
actually
かんねえ
able
だろう
to
文化
get
だ
it
から。
together here on this final attempted defense. I mean, they do have control right now, but there's only 20 seconds left. It's going to have to be an
韓国人
overtime
は
if
だから
they
日本
pull
人と
this
近いんだよ。
off.
言わなくても分かるだ
CSS
ろう
can
精
find
神が
something
結
with
構あ
this
る。
pulse, but it is just the DPS show for Falcons. They are
だから最
outclassing
低
their
限のコミュニケー
counterparts
ション
so
で最
hard
大
right
限の
now.
連携ができ
Just
る。
feels hopeless. See if they can start that romantic runaway push.
そこがお互いの気持ちがすれ違っちゃうと
Today rush.
大きなミスが起きるんだけど、またレジェゴンから死んだ。
so rapidly. Smurf will get taken down. However, as Mag finds one, but now Stalker taking down Vigilante. The support's gone. Prophet dead. It's all on Mag and says the pulse bomb, a Hail Mary attempt.
文化的な問題だよ。
Found as the cleanup continues. Stalker will finish it in style, recalling out after taking down Mag, and that will be it. A great lead established from the side of Runaway, but taken away from the Team Falcons. They just couldn't get themselves back into the driver's seat, and that is going to be a 3-0 to kick off OWCS here in Korea.
Look at that from Smurf as well. You could see as everyone else is taking headsets off, he typed something in very quickly, and I guarantee you was saying good match to his opponents right there in the lobby chat, even though he's going to see him on stage in just a moment. Anyways, polite player. But there were so many moments for Runaway where they had control, right? And there were some overextensions from Smurf, and it felt like the momentum was theirs. They had ult advantage. And then it all kind of fell apart when Lee Jae-gon got caught. We also had a few fights where Mag got overzealous, even ulting in at times when they already had control. And it makes you wonder if the shot calling just isn't fully ironed out just yet, because the mechanics are there. But I can tell you the mechanics for the Falcons DPS players are the highest we saw. And I want to give Fielder a shout out, because you and I were talking about this during the break. Fielder's impact on the Kitsune was insane, especially when Hanman was doing that diva push. But even in that game itself, he was outputting so much healing onto his tank Smurf so that the Doomfist could consistently kind of continue to go in. He was always healthy enough to look for re-engages. What a very strong team we have here. That's now currently leading first place 3-0. We only have one game, but they're the favorite team. They 3-0 the team favorite today, even though it was a close first two maps.
絶対アメリカじゃ大谷翔平は生まれ
Living
な
up
い。
to the hype so far.
Yeah, so far, but I mean, also Runaway maybe pushing back
それを
against
絶対
some
っ
of
て俺言え
the
る。
non-existent hype, because
おめえじゃ
a
ねえ
lot
か
of
よ。
people were saying this is looking like a bottom team, but they played this Falcon squad damn close across those
俺
three
選ぶ
maps.
と
So
したら
again,
誰
the
かな。
scoreline doesn't tell the story, but it's a tale as old as time. Proper's in the lobby. Proper gets player of the match. I did go for Fielder on this one, but Proper's performance still was
妙になんだかな、
top-notch.
選ぶとしたら。
Yeah, I actually wanted to vote for a tank at first.
プ
You
ロ
know,
フ
when
ァ
I
ーと
first
プロ
started
フェッ
talking
トで
about it with
圧
you,
倒的な差が出たかっ
Proper
ていう
was
と、
playing both first two
ここまで
maps
圧
very
倒的な差が
consistently,
出
and
てる
then
わけ
that
じゃな
third
く
map,
て
I。
And
mean,
he
he
was
just turned
playing
on.
tank when he was duping the Doom.
That's
so.
true. But he was usually duping the Tracer in the really big impact plays and was becoming the
ビ
best
ジェゴ
and
ン
most
と
successful
ヒロじゃ
Tracer
圧
on
倒
the
的な差が出た。
Rift, on the
そこがビジランテ
server.
とフィールダーの差なの
And
かもしれ
look,
ないけど、
Achilles.
サ
I
ポー
think
トは間違
Hanman
いな
showed
く
us the
で
diva.
かい
That
差が
was
出て
super
る。
fun. I think we obviously got to see better Doomfist play out of
そ
Smurf.
れや
I
っ
think
てる
Mag's
限り
still
一生
working it out, even though he's played a ton of Doom in the
ラナーで勝
past.
てない。
But for Runaway, there are some clear weaknesses that need to be
いかにラナウェイ
improved.
に
Lee
優
Jae-gon's
秀と
positioning
優秀な有利な
and
メタが来たとして
coordination
も。
overall as a five-man squad is what they need to work on, whereas the Falcons, they already have such
そ
a
の大谷翔平の
strong
話に戻るんだけ
base,
ど、
and this roster's been together for a while. They got picked up when they were hamstered by Falcons,
もし
and I think that
アメリカに
you know, will they be the
大谷
most
翔平
dominant
の
team for the entire season?
遺伝
That's,
子を持っ
that's
た
tough to say, right? I think teams will improve as it goes
ス
on,
ー
but
パーエリートが
they
登
just
場
did
した
not
と。
disappoint at all
で
today.
も、
Yeah, I was curious to see how Proper was going to be performing, because I mean, even though
もちろん大谷の活躍してるのは彼の努力あってことの部分っていうのは、それ100も承知の話で。彼の努力をする才能を含めて、才能と仮定して、彼の活躍を保証できる才能と同じ努力を、同じ量の努力をできる選手が出てきたとしても、アメリカっていう文化のベースボールで、ベースボールっていう文化では、試合がトーナメント制じゃなくてリーグ制なのよ。アマチュアも。このかわいいな。日本ってもう少年野球のコーチやってるし、自分もやってきたから分かるんだけど、でウーパーが呼ばれてる。で、やっぱ、小中高って野球やってきたけど、基本的にトーナメント戦なんだよね。まあ、それはもちろんリーグ戦の試合もあるし、別に何言ってるか分かんねえな。
I was a little bit nervous, but in the end, I think we were able to make it. It was a good match overall.
자, 그렇다면 이번에 처음 도입된 맵 밴에 대해서는 어떻게 생각하셨나요?
So this time around, map vetoes were in place for the first time. How do you feel about it?
で、トーナメント戦じゃなくてリーグ戦になった場合、
So this was a new concept, so it was new to us as well. But Junkbuck and
全てが
was there to do the thinking for us.
野球に
So
おい
I
て
think
トーナメ
we
ント
were
戦
doing alright.
だから、
에코에 대한 질문을 안 할 수가 없습니다.
一番
오늘 에코로
活躍できる
서열
選手を
보여주셨는데, 자, 더블
ピッチャーに
트레이서가
置くんだよね。
나왔어요.
Definitely have to talk about your echo, and we also
これが常
saw
識。
some
모두 트레이서를
double
하는
tracers
거
after you
너무한다 싶지 않았나요?
duplicated the
まあ
tracer.
昔、
Did you feel that you were bullying your
ちょっと
opponent when
昔
you gave your
遡る
opponent
桑田と
double
か
tracer treatment?
で今の世代との、まあ、マイケンとかそうだよね。マイケンとかダルビッシュとかそうだよね。
그런 거 상관없이 나는
I did what I needed.
이겨버리겠다라는 마음으로
何でもできる人は
얘기 들었습니다. 자,
ピ
오늘
ッチャーやらされるんだよ。
시작이
大谷も多分
좋습니다.
そう
다음
だった。
경기도 기분 좋게 하실 수 있을 것 같은데 다음 경기에 임하는 각오도
投げる、打つ、走る、全部できる人は、
Let's hear about
ピ
your
ッチャー
result
やらさ
going
れる
into
の
the
よ。
next match.
トーナメント戦って1試合しかないから、ピッチャーが一番でかいのよ。
I actually think I
割合
did
として。
really
試合
play
に
well
関わ
in
る
this
割合
match,
とし
so
て。
I want to play even better next match.
で、例えば高校野球を例にすると、
그렇다면 마지막
1
질문
試合投げ
하나
て
더
中
있는데요.
3日、
오늘
1試合投げて中3日って
Our
いう、
last question
で、
of the
中
day for
2
you.
日、中
We
2日みたい
haven't
な試合を
overly today with fans.
していくん
Do
だ
you
け
have any
ど、
words to the
それを
fans?
やっていく中で、やっぱり一番いい選手はピッチャーに置くのが、ピッチャーって、
Well, I mean, thank you for your support, and it's cold out there in Korea,
守
so
備面の、まあ、7割から8割
and that's the end of the interview, and back to
の
you.
負担を
Yes.
負うわけよ。攻撃面だと、1番から9番まで、単純に言うと、その、単純計算9分の1ずつじゃん。9番バッターが4本ホームラン打ちゃ4点入るわけだし、1番バッターが4本ホームラン打っても4点しか入んないわけだから。そこって、
Damn chilly today.
Yeah,
Guys,
Q2 is
we're
cool
just
for
getting
sure.
started. We've got Sin Prissa going up against Poker Face coming up next, so don't go anywhere, because if you do, you're crazy.
だから大谷は160キロ投げる才能もあって、今バッターとしては間違いなく世界一って言えるレベルまで来てるけど、バッターとしても世界一のセンスがあったわけだ。それでも彼は高校野球でピッチャーをやってたわけよ。バッターとして世界一の。で、それはやっぱりピッチャーとして使った方がトーナメント戦においては有利だから。で、逆にメジャーリーグ中4日で先発して試合を延々と回していく。まあアマチュアだったら日本でやるとしたらもしかしたら中6日かもしれないよね。なんか5日か。同日やったら次に同日って試合をやるわけだから。 中5日で永遠とリーグ戦を続けていくんだったら、おそらくというか、まあ、ショートストップっていうポジションが一番勝敗に直結するんだね。ピッチャーって、まあ、リーグ戦やり続けたら、毎日やったら、登板感覚ってものが空いて、メジャーリーグ中4日で回してるとしたら、5試合に1試合しか貢献できないわけよ。だから、5試合に1試合しか貢献できない選手を、スーパースターに置かないのよ。何でもできるやつに。本当に何でもできるやつは、一番守備に負担があって、なおかつ打撃でも貢献できるショートに置くわけよ。だから、アメリカに大谷翔平が仮に生まれてきたとしたら、ショートをやらせるわけよ。これが文化の違い。日本人の目から見ると、大谷翔平ってショート向きじゃないよねって、絶対言われるのよ。ショートって日本人から見ると、グラブさばきが上手くて、細かい動きが得意で、っていう選手が、まあ西武の源太とか、180ないけど、一層の強さで肩が強くて、で、グラブさばきが上手くて足が速くてっていう選手が置かれがちなんだけど、アメリカだと身体能力が高い選手をとりあえずショートに置くんだよね。ショートできなかったやつがセカンドとかサードに回って、できなかったやつが外野とかキャッチャーに回って、できなかったやつがファーストに守ると。で、投げるしかできないやつがピッチャーをやるのよ。まあ日本で言うと多分デブがピッチャーやるみたいなもんだよ。ピッチャーとキャッチャーはデブでもできるから。知れないやつができるポジションってピッチャーとキャッチャーとファーストなのね。ファーストも最近の研究だと、やっぱ守備範囲が一番大事で言われてるから、本当に走んなくてもできるポジションってピッチャーとキャッチャーだけなのよ。だから、ピッチャーしかできないやつって、まあ日本のプロ野球にも一応はいるのだよね。俺がいつも代表例で、この話代表例出すのは、内海なんだけど、内海って、投げることの才能は多分相当なものがあったんだけど、バッティングクソなのよ。巨人のエース史上、ワーストのバッティングだと思うよ。彼のバッティングは。っていうレベルの選手もプロに入れるんだよね。ピッチャーとしては。で、大谷翔平は間違いなく生まれた瞬間から、ショートをやることが運命づけられてる選手になっちゃうわけ。でショートをやるってことは、必然的にピッチャーにはならないんだね。まあ、アマチュア程度だったらやるかもしんないけど。基本ピッチャーとショートだったら、ショートを取るわけ。アメリカの文化だと。で、さすがに大谷翔平でも、ピッチャーとショートの両立は無理なのよ。大谷がギリできてるのは、ピッチャーと DH だからだって、ピッチャーと外野でも結構きついと思うよ。守備の負担って。一時期日ハム自体はやってたりはしたけど、やっぱり重たいもんは重たいよね。結局、打てるようになってからやらなくなったし。近藤が打ってて、ちょっと膝に不安があって一時期やったりしたけど。やっぱ難しいものは難しくて。 で、だから多分人間の限界っていうのが、DH とピッチャーなんだよ。今のところ。だからその限界に到達してるのが大谷翔平であって、日本の文化なんだよね。トーナメント制でピッチャーをやらせて、DH はつけずに、ピッチャーにも打たせる。だから、打てるピッチャーが必然的に生まれる。だから二刀流というものが成立する。アメリカは投げることしかできない奴がピッチャーをやるから、打てなくてもいい。走れなくてもいい。打って走れる奴は他のポジションを守るから。これがもう文化の差で。悪いとかいいとかじゃない。いいとか悪いとかの話をし始めると、俺はとてつもなく悪いと思ってるから、この話をしないでおく。しちゃおうかな、一人いるし、なんか。コメントしてくんないけど。私は高校野球まで一応野球をやってましたと。でも、高校野球という文化が大嫌いです。うん。本当に嫌い。一切見ないもん、高校野球。自分の出身の高校も追わないし、ドラフトに入ってくるまで全く選手の情報なんか知らない。プロ野球は自分の応援してる球団143試合ほぼ全部見てるけど。巨人の試合143試合全部見てるけど。結論が言ったら、っていうのは、になると、メジャーリーグ、アメリカの研究で、球数は、100球中4日にしましょうという研究結果があります。それ以上は間違いなく負担になります。もうだから、日本野球界は、球数を減らしていきましょうねっていう方針がありますと。もう少年野球はとても始まっていますと。今の高校3年生の時は、1日 7イニングまで投げれたのよ。で、1日7イニング、コントロールの悪いピッチャーが投げると、140球ぐらいいくのよ。小学生のコントロールなんかたかが知れてるから。ストライク入んねえ子、ストライク入んないんだよ。でも、16メートルで100キロ投げると、大会130、140ぐらいになるから、まず足りないのよ。半分ストライク投げて、いや、まだ点取られるのね。そういう子何人も見てきて、で、絶対肩とか肘とかに良くないだろうなと思って、案の定怪我して上行ってピッチャーやってなかったりするんだけど、今は、もう、一人、1日70球って制限がついてますと。だから昔とだいぶ、高校3年生の時はだいぶ采配の仕方も変わったよね。采配の仕方というか、チーム作りの仕方だよね。アマチュア野球なのかどうかわかんないけど、1日2試合試合をする計算したときに、1人7イニング投げれるんだったら、で、少年野球7イニングです。1試合7イニングですって、今6なんだけど、1試合7イニングですって仮定したときに、1人7イニング投げれるから、1試合1人のピッチャーできるわけよ。で、2試合目も1人のピッチャーできるわけよ。で、なんかあったときに、ピッチャーを1人2人用意しとけばいいのよ。だから、ピッチャーを作る枚数は 3枚、4枚でよかったんだよ。だから、チームに、まあ、10人最低登録が必要だけど、10人いる中で、3人か4人ピッチャーがいればよかったんだけど、今は、70球しか投げられないので、1試合に2人は必要ですと。もうだから、140球投げるようなバケモンがいるから、バケモンというか、140球投げるようなやつがいるから、そういうのやめましょうっつって、その140球分を2人で投げなきゃいけないわけよ。で、2試合目も140球分あるわけよ。それだけでまず4人なのよ。で、そこに、1試合ずつ、なんかあった時用の選手を1人ずつ置いとくと、ピッチャー6枚必要なのよ。6人いなきゃいけないってだいぶ辛いよね。トーナメント戦うにおいて、でもって地元の小学校で6番目の選手なんて、まあ、まず普通の子よ。これまで少年野球でピッチャーなんかやってない。下手したら6人だから内野に入ってない可能性の子だってあるわけでさ。うまいやつから内野やっていくわけで当然。レフトとかライトとしかやってないような子が投げてる可能性があるわけでさ。
We got Sinprisa Gaming going up against Poker Face, so good old T2 showdown. Well, we can't really call it T2 anymore. They're here, they're in the big leagues.
Yeah, that's right. Tier 2 is Tier 1 now. Tier 0, we're at
It's
the
all been
top.
folded together.
Mike, is Korea Tier 1 and then no? Well, we'll find out when teams do cross-region play later on, which region is actually Tier 1. Then we can say like, oh, okay, NA is T2. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. This is going to be an exciting matchup, though, between defending and last Contenders Korea champions, because Contenders Korea is kind of folded into this as well. So, you know, we took like Tier 2 and pushed it up, and then we took Owl and kind of pulled it together into OWCS. So, not going to be any more Contenders champions, and we'll see if you know, they can live up to a Poker Face playing a close series against Zero. It was a long time ago, I think back in September when that finals did happen, so it's been a while, and the roster has changed a little bit, but coming in as slight favorites. I think a lot of people are really optimistic about this roster. It's got a really cool logo. People like that. I like that.
People do like the logos. For me, and for any historians out there, I think that the best logo that we've ever seen is Go on Water S.
Go on Water S.
Go on Water S, the absolute goated logo.
WAC is getting close, though. I mean, they're a contender for it.
It's true. I do like Whack.
Whack.
So, but yeah, we'll be seeing them a bit later on. But yeah, I'm curious to see how these teams are going to look. Like you said, there's some new faces coming through here, but we were surprised, you know, even back during last season of Overwatch League, how well a lot of these squads were doing, kind of punching above their weight in theory, and being able to challenge some of the Overwatch League teams. So, I mean, nothing to shake a stick at for sure. And now, like we said, there's no separation between those, you know, those tournaments. It's all combined into one. So we'll see what kind of hot start these teams can have. Because already, great beginning. You know, yes, a 0-3 loss for Runaway in the opener, but the scoreline, not telling the story, was way closer than that, at least on the first two maps in particular. So I'm hoping for some more tight-knit Overwatch here coming into this set.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that this one might just be closer in general between the two teams in terms of where their skill level is at. It's interesting you mentioned these teams competing in Overwatch League, of course, and Sinprisa as well, like having the moment where they got to like try to shine, and they did decently well. But a lot of these teams, when they were contenders teams, were the scrim partners of a lot of the Overwatch League teams, right, in Asia, because they were all practicing together, competing together. They were a good scrim partner. So they've learned a lot, improved a lot. This is the place where everybody boot camps when you want to improve and train, even during the Overwatch League. During the off-season, teams would come here and train and scrim against these types of teams. So all of these players are super hardened in terms of, yeah, maybe they didn't play against the Overwatch League as long as some of the players that we saw in our previous series, but they played with Overwatch League teams and scrims all the time. And this has always been the most competitive Overwatch region. And can you imagine, you know, we had the contenders teams coming into the APAC part of Overwatch League to kind of fill in the gaps there. Can you imagine if, like, Runaway and Kongdu Panthera played in 2018 Overwatch League? Like, they probably would have smashed the whole thing. Because when they came, they kind kind of did. Although
Yeah.
San Francisco Shock at least was able
表
to
情っ
keep
ていう
it
のもアメリカ
competitive,
と
you
日
know?
本でだい
They
ぶ違
yeah
うよね。
they held it together. They took the
そういう意味で言うと。
championship, but who was right there? It was our runaway boys.
That's right.
They were the ones in that second place spot. Did they win any maps that grand final? No, they did not. But it was still anytime those teams got the clash, it was awesome. So I do agree with you. If it was that 2018 when teams were finding their footing, when Shock wasn't the Shock that they came
ア
to
メ
be,
リカ
when
人
it
は
was
やっ
the,
ぱ
the
口で
significantly
登場
worse
するもん
one.
ね。
Yeah, they probably would have got crapped on, to be honest. But let's go ahead and take a look at Sinprissa Gaming as we get ready to bring the players out
SPG
on
って誰だっ
stage.
け？
That's right. This looks like the delay is done. We're going to do our walkouts now with Sinprissa, who have Aid and Argon in the DPS role, Milgaro playing the tank position, and then their new players, Tuyu, a secondary tank for this team. We'll see if he's starting today, as well as Hyunjae and Lee Soo-min in the support role. So the former players from Seoul Dynasty and Seoul Infernal coming in together. So two parts of Seoul joined in one support duo. And this team coming in today, I think, is a little bit of underdogs, but it's hard to really grasp how powerful these teams are and how good their coordination is until we just see it on the stage itself.
結構賛否のピが多かったオーバーウォッチリーグだけど、俺は好きだったから、 なんかなんで残念だよね。
Which, I mean, we're talking about fun logos and everything like that. I liked the old one.
The old one was better, but this one is
I'm
so
being
cool.
perfectly honest.
We also have, they have a really cool jersey that has their names on. I love it when teams, especially in a new LAN environment, actually put their players' names on the front of the jersey,
挨拶の
not
デコ
the
レの仕
back,
方
so
が
that you, if you're not familiar with the
とて
player's
も
face,
文
you
化
can
系だよ。
identify that early. So they have it actually on both, as you can see here. So no matter which way they're
この
looking,
ピの開け
you
方
know
とか。
who they are. And a classic, we used to have Runaway on their old jerseys. They had the same thing, right? Right on the shoulder.
Yep.
And Poker Face here coming in with some new players themselves. Finale,
野球部のやり方じゃない。
Simple being their original players.
Tuyu、Aid、
Take a look at
アーゴン、
Sinprissa's
ユンジャ
starting
イ、
lineup
リ
here
ズ
will
ミ
be Tuyu and not Milgaro. So their new tank player to start off.
Well, Aid, Argon there in the DPS, and as you said, Tuyu will be the starting tank. So Milgar is just going to be on the bench for now, but I mean, we had to flip back and forth there between the
まあ
likes of Smurf
知る人ぞ
as
知
well
る
as
リーガー
Hanbin.
とコンテンダーズの交わったチー
Substitutions
ム
coming
で
through depending on what the
どの
map
ぐらい
pool
のレベ
ends
ルか
up
というと、
being, or rather the map selections end up being.
どこまでこ
Jay
の
and Lee Soo-min to
リー
round
ガーば
things out here for
ばかり
Sinprissa.
の
I think right now
KR
the
シー
meta,
ン
the
で
tank is
輝ける
the
か。
core role and
無能で
arguably
はある。
the most difficult role to play, and your team has to play around you, even if it is very DPS centered right now, the meta we've seen at least in our first series. But a lot of pressure on the tanks, and I think it's the role that you need to have two players in almost every time. And we'll see if there's any exception to that rule, but it's the role that's been subbed the most here in OWCS and our other regions within APAC as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, for the side of Runaway, we didn't see any subs because they just have that 5-player core. We'll see if they end up expanding on the team at all, or if Matt can continue to just kind of work out and
韓国の
expand
プロゲ
his
ーマ
own
ーだ
hero
よ、こ
pool
れ
a。little bit.
リアル韓国のプロゲーマーだもん
Kings
な。
Row for a little while, which
ヒカキンさん、韓国のプロゲーマー
was
リンチしてん
having
の。
some nice connections there with
あれ
the
す
Knives
ごい
as
よ。
well. But for now,
しかも韓国のプロゲーマーとしてじゃなくて、
then we'll get
カン
ready
プロ
to
と
take
し
a
て
look
認知
at
してる
their
から。
opponents here in Poker Face as well.
Yeah, Poker Face. Bringing Becky
カンプロとして
Proud
認知してるのに、
into this one, and
ヒカ
we'll
キンさん
see
や
how
めねえか
they
ら。
do perform. They have a
全然
very
止めないから。
extensive roster
ネットフナすごいよねってごまかしてるから。
the ways in which they played a lot of the meta and the end of contenders is very different now, and see if they're going to be running that same Doomfist style. And if you never watched Korean Overwatch before, like if you only watched them play, like Korean players play in Overwatch League, for example, there were times in Overwatch League where teams did eventually just mirror all the time and there weren't a whole lot of changes, but generally speaking in Korea, we just mirror all the time, especially in new metas, so I'd expect more of that. So Proud and Becky will be starting over Finale today in the DPS role. Peppy is going to be in instead of Jasmine, at least for this first map. And then we have Iris coming back,
Peppy,
a
Jasmine,
name that
Proud,
you and I
Becky,
haven't talked
Finale,
about together in a
Iris、
while.
フェイス、シンプル。
And Faith
まあ
will
こ
be
こ
the
も
starting support with them. Simple.
アイリスなんか
Ride the bench
太
for
陽
at
君
least
と
the
同じ
first
チームでやってたリーガー
Can't
だし、
believe they would bench the
日本
goat
人
like
も
that.
知ってる人はいなか
Playing
らね。
Overwatch for the first time, they're going to bench Simple.
It's crazy, man. And
Unbelievable.
changed his
あと
spelling
は
of his ID as
コンテン
well.
ダー
Also,
ズ
he's like
中
playing
心
for
の
Poker
選手
Face
が多い
instead
ね
of。Falcons when he's on loan. That's so bizarre of Simple. I
No.
can't believe he would
So
do that.
wild. I can't believe
My
that.
CSK.
特にいたプロベもいたんだけど、
Yeah, I mean, like you said,
Look at
there's
the
plenty of
American.
new faces here for both of us, but also some ones
どっ
that
かのアメリカ
have
ンチー
been
ムとか
around
行く
for a
のか
very
な。
long time. And you mentioned, Iris, and that's one that I basically had forgotten that you and I had actually cast it forever ago.
Yeah, I mean, he was one of the OGs back in Overwatch 1 back in 2018, and he was very good at flex support. And also in that meta where he was playing the most, it was very common for flex support to swap to Widowmaker or Roadhog, actually, and he was very good at those as well. One of my favorite players back then. And you fast forward, 5.5 years later here to 2014, and the man is making it onto the big stage again. So glad to have him back, and we will see how he performs today, as I don't think we'll be seeing this guy subbed out.
Yeah, that one, it feels like he should be having a bit of a mainstay here. But you never know. Maybe they've got something up their sleeve. But let's go ahead and take a look at the map. Veto. And it looks like we're going to go back to some flavor of the month territory here, as Samoa will be the selection. Bans on Ilios, which I think we still haven't seen across any of the regions.
I don't think so.
Doesn't lend itself to the meta at all, kind of from what we've been seeing. So it's just going to be Samoa, the latest control map coming in.
I think a lot of teams don't like Ilios because it has the most variance, and it feels like even if you're the better team, sometimes you might get knocked off the map. The environment of Ilios is very annoying to deal with. Not so much on Samoa, on the other hand. Now, we've seen a lot in Japan of Wrecking Ball on Samoa. We're not really seeing the Doomfist that much, so I just want to put that out there. I think based on what we saw in the earlier series, I think we will be seeing the exact same Tracer Echo fist comps again. Poker Faith, he's got faith!
Poker Faith, and it's Kermit the Frog screaming their support at the team.
Yeah. And it says, Super Frog!
I'd stop myself. I have actually never done a Kermit the Frog impersonation. I don't think that today is the time to start trying that blindly.
I mean, I believe in you. He's not ready.
Yeah.
どうなんだろう、韓国語勉強した方がいいのかな。
It's not there. I couldn't even get through like a word of that.
韓国語喋れるようになるぐらいだったら、英語喋れるようになって NA サバ潜りたいけど。
And it was a Faith fan. I thought that the implication was that they were just saying they had faith in the squad, but actually looking up his real Korean name just to confirm, and yes, it was a Faith fan there. As you could have faith even if you weren't a Faith fan, and yeah, it's time for Overwatch to come back.
さっき左下に映ってた。
And that is what this girl is implying with this sign. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Hell yeah. Overwatch is back.
Thumbs up.
It's back. Can't hold out any longer. All right. Samoa first. Achilleos. I know you and I are... It's only been a week of OWCS. We're a little bit ready to move on, but I guess these teams are not.
We saw Lijiang, we saw Lijiang Tower earlier on, so it's fine. Now we go into Samoa. We'll judge more heavily when we get into the third series, because then if it's Samoa again, then we're like, oh, come on, man. Somebody be bold. Somebody play Ilios,
I think the truth is a lot of teams are practicing this map because it's new, so you really need to master it so you don't have to waste bans on it. And so you start practicing it a lot, you start screaming it a lot, and you're like, well, I'm pretty comfortable on this. We've practiced this one the most, and then naturally we end up here a lot, and people don't want to ban. So...
Will just be this again. So I'm curious to see if anybody's going to have any different takes as far as what they're going to be piloting, but given that this is Korea, it's probably going to be some pretty similar compositions coming through on either side, but it's more a question, I guess, of is it the ball, is it the queen, or is it going to be the fist that we get to see?
That's the question. My expectation is Tracer Echo, Doomfist again. And then some supports will probably stay the same, Lucio, Kiriko, but we might see, as Zenyatta come through, we might also see the swap to Moira in dire straits. Looks like Lee Sumin may have a small issue, so be patient with us as we do sort this out. Peppy headset off as well here. It's it back on.
なんかクイーンだと後ろをキープじゃ足りねえんだなって。どうだいなんだろう。ダンカークイーンが出てきた時最初後ろモイラだったんだ。で、ゴーストマジでネットの方が強くねって言って、で、ブリッジの方が強くねって言って、出来上がったわけよ。後ろブリギテっていう構成が出来上がった、そういうストーリーがあるんだけど。
Yeah, look at him warming up his mouse hand as well. Flicking it.
Oh, he's absolutely flicking like a madman. Gotta check the, get the seat upright.
Yeah, Hyundai is making sure.
Everybody checking now, making sure they're nice and comfy. All of you at home, posture check.
Posture check.
Hydration check.
Hydration check.
make sure you're good to go. But it looks like this might take a little bit longer because they're coming back to us on camera.
Oh,
Which I'm
I
like,
didn't
all
know.
right, well now I got to check my posture and
I
everything
didn't
like
know. Now we are aware that we're coming here.
that. Alrighty,
Oh,
so
I mean,
yeah,
that's
we'll just
something
be
important
coming
now.
back to us here. So it seems like might need a little bit more time to get things squared away, but that's fine.
Thumbs up.
It's okay.
I mean, not only do we have, as it talked about earlier, a ton of experience going through tech pauses just between the two of us, we also have a lot of recent experiences as well.
Yes, and yeah, I don't want to get too deep into it, but we actually have you guys right here with us as well. I want to let you guys know for this broadcast for Korea, there's no delay because it's not online.
Yeah.
So we can interact with you guys directly if we do have these types of scenarios, and we're trying to keep the broadcast a little bit casual, you know,
Yeah.
more than some of the more serious broadcasts you and I have done.
I thought you were going to say we can interact with you if we want to. Sorry, I thought you were
Also
going with that
yes,
sentence.
also yes.
一番英語真面目に勉強してて、
your presence
スキル
on
があ
the
ってか
monitor.
つ
I could just hit a button and it
あ
would
の
just
本
go
当に英語
along.
喋れるようにしようとしてくれた
So
先
for
生
now,
と
we'll
巡
keep
り
you
合っ
guys.
て
We'll keep you guys here. We'll
半
see
年
how
間授
everyone's
業受け
doing.
て
Hello as well to you
We
guys.
see you guys.
あの先生と
See
多
you
分
both
2年
Twitch
間ぐら
and
いちゃんと授
YouTube.
業してたら
We have vision
英
on
語ペラペラだわ
They really enjoy these casters.
英語の授業で
That's what they
Thank you very
said.
much. Oh no. Well, Tesla
毎
just
回
mentioned surge pricing.
こうなんか
No.
英語の
No,
番組を見させられ
no,
Wendy's.
て
Korea
I
broadcast.
wasn't even planning on bringing up the
で
Wendy's
その感想を英語で喋るんだけ
because I
ど
was like so excited to just focus on Korea.
辞書は
He had
一
to
切
go
使っ
ahead
ちゃいけ
and
ない
bring
の
that back into the.
You had to
文
ruin
法を
it.
いくら間違えても
You had
単語いくら
to
間
ruin
違え
it.
てもいい
Nobody
か
brought
ら
up nozzle
こ
roadhog
の
yet either, but
辞書は
I'm just
絶
gonna
対
do
使う
it.
なっていう
We
授
need
業
to know who
で
you think the Kobe of Overwatch is.
だから
I
見
mean,
せられた
if
内
that,
容
by
を
that you mean like.
英語で見せられた内容を
Where does
少し翻
Kobe-
訳
where
して
does
くれるん
Kobe
だよ
even rank? 'Cause most
日本
people
語
would
だ
say
とこう
like
いう
Michael
こと
Jordan
が起きて
for like the
こういう
GOAT
表現をし
basketball.
ますよ
Do we
ねっ
have
ていう
a
こと
Michael
を
Jordan
ちょっと言ってくれ
of
て
Overwatch? I
で
don't
感
think
想
we
は
do.
もう全部英語で
I
言
mean,
う
it
の
would be profit. Profit would just, I mean, look, we'll just take that to mean the GOAT. Some people might have
あ
disagreements
の
as far as
授
the
業
GOAT
に
of
2
basketball
年
is the
受けたら
NBA.
間違いなく
I
喋れ
don't
るよ
watch the NBA. I'm not Mr. X, so I won't claim to be an
I feel
expert.
like Overwatch, even though it's
結
got
局
a
喋
long
れるか
history
喋れない
now,
かって
basically 8 years of professional play,
自分の
I
主
feel like
観
we
であ
haven't
って
gotten to a point where somebody is actually the Michael Jordan of Overwatch. You can be the GOAT, but like you can't be Michael Jordan.
俺だっ
Just
て
because you're the
東京
GOAT doesn't mean
で
you're Michael Jordan, right?
一番最初の会社の
You see
近
what
く
I'm
で
saying?
アメリカ人にティッシュ
I get what you're talking about.
コンビニでティッシュ
I
どこに
think-
売ってますか
I-
って
I-
聞かれ
we'd
て
have to
答え
say
られたか
profit,
ら
though. I think we've
別に
always-
そう
I
いう
would say
面では
profit.
別にコミュニケーション
There's
取れるんだ
been,
よな
you know, there's always been a conversation, people saying Carpe and whatnot, but
Where
Carpe
this
was nipping
paper
at the heels
って
of profit, trying to catch up to
言えない
the
アメリ
kind
カ
of
人
figures that he was able to put up, even though we didn't, you know, just I mean, for the
ティッ
outset,
シュどこですかっ
profit
て
was
言え
just
な
incredible.
い
I
外
mean,
人
his
さんだったか
debut
らさ
season, he got MVP of the finals. And people forget about
ウ
that.
ェ
because
ア
they
イ
only
ズ
think
ティ
about
ッ
his
シュペー
time
パー
in
的
the
なこと言って
Overwatch
鼻
league.
かむ
But
ジェスチャーしてた
actually,
から
he debuted
あこの人ティッシュ
incredibly
欲しいん
well.
だなと思って
And
で
like,
ティッシュ売り場と
performed
コン
on
ビニ
every
の
roster
コンビニ
he
の
was
中ティッシュ売り場
on.
ずれ
Goes
て
on to be MVP of Overwatch League Finals as well.
いやいいって言ったら Thank
And
you
yeah, I
って言ってた
mean,
から
there was some funny
あそんな
moments
もん
of
だろうな
profit
英語
throughout
っ
his
てって
career
思っ
where
て
he dipped down in form. Like when Echo first came out, that was not his best moment.
それ
But
話してる横
but
に
he recovered.
その会
He
社の社長がい
recovered.
たっていう結
And
構いい
I'm
思い出
honestly sad that he retired. But you know, he just decided he needs a.
社長の横で
I
外人さん
saw
助けちゃ
his
った
retirement post. He mentioned like, you know, I started things off on GC Busan. I got all the way here. I accomplished
社
so
長
much
も
in my
全然そういうこと
career.
に気づいてないんだけ
I'm
ど
ready to kind of hang up the mouse, but when he said that and he said
左に
you know, he
おじさん
mentioned
いる
GC
な
Busan
右に外国人い
in
る
the
なと
statement,
思った
it
ら
just reminds
左
me
が
of
社長で
how this
右
guy's
が
been around.
助けを求めて
So
るお
it's
じさ
got
ん
to be it's got to be
外
him
国
for
人
sure.
さんだったっていう
That one tugged at my heartstrings a bit. But yeah, I think we would still. I think we'd still go with him. I think that if you were going to break things down by role, you could have a lot of a much more wide conversation about goats of each position. I'm sure for support, a lot of people would be throwing like Violet's hat into that
時代トラ
ring,
ブルかなんかかな
and whatnot, just given his dominance, his performances, even outside of the stage, but just in game in
I
general.
saw that I think Plat Chat recently did like
うま
a
くが出りゃ
every
リーディン
hero
グはまだ
iconic players.
割
Literally,
とできるから
well, technically this morning for us.
いいん
Yeah.
だけど
So I saw that list. And
かと
then
いっ
before I
て
looked at the list, I
信
read
頼
some of
度
the
半分
comments,
ぐらい
and
の
I saw one of the top
YouTube の
comments was
自
they didn't
動
put
字幕
Toby
を見
for
るわけにも
Lucio,
いかんから
and then I just closed it. I didn't read the list.
They didn't.
No, they didn't put Toby for Lucio, so I just closed it, and I don't care about it actually.
Avril, I'm gonna call you out again. I know you're on that episode. I saw you. Is what you, Johnny, McGravy, it's somebody else who I don't remember. You done goofs. I did, but I will give some credit because the only thing that I glanced at because I saw kind of the thumbnail was they did put Miro in for Winston. So
Yeah.
you get You get some points back for that.
I mean, the thing is, like, if they didn't remember Toby, do you even have to remember who's on their show? Like, I don't think so. I don't think you have to remember. They didn't remember Toby, so. Whoa!
That's a fair point. Whoever that fourth mystery man was on the show, I don't apologize. Anyway, let's go ahead and get ready to get into game because we are finally ready to kick things off. So let's dive in here for Samoa.
So,
おそらく
you know what
多く
works
の
out really
外した
well
構成は出てこないだろうという読みで。
We were joking
こ
this
う
is
なるよ。
Apex Season 5. I think we can almost colloquially call this Apex Season 5. It also works out for the odd even thing because 5 is
どっ
odd
ちが
and
勝つ
we're
か
in
と
the
言われ
first
たら
season, so
難しい
that's,
なこ
you
れ。
know, it's an odd number, which is only relevant for Runaway winning championships or not. It's
名前
odd,
的に言え
so
ば
finals is the best
ポ
you
ー
can
カ
get,
ー
of
フェイ
course.
ス寄りの64でポーカー
I
フェイス
started
か
doing
な
this
って
because I
感
had a
じ。
feeling. I was sorry. We were talking about Apex Season
Continue.
5.
Continue your point.
I had somebody make a Photoshop for me for OGN Apex Season 5, and I posted it on Twitter on April Fool's once, which was the saddest April Fool's joke I've ever
別
made.
にシンプルなゲームズの方が
Yeah.
弱いかと言われたら別に弱かね。
But every time I still have that photo saved somewhere on my phone of the Apex Season
何
5.
も売れてない
I just wanted
コンテンターズか KR レベル
wanted it
の
to happen. It's not
選
gonna
手で
happen
も
now,
多分
but
日本代表より
you
強い。
know, we can colloquially, jokingly call it Apex 5 here. It is OWCS Korea, of course.
Sure. I mean, hey, for all of our
日本と
lovely
対等
co-streamers
以
that are
上
out
に
there,
渡
if
り合
you
うと思う
wanted
よ。
to perhaps implement some of the old music into your own
唯一通用するのはこれ2個のトレーサーぐらいだと思う。2個のトレーサー以外
I
一
did
切
that
通用
when
し
I
な
was
いと思う。
co-streaming Overwatch League and other tournaments. So,
あとは全部
it
合
worked
同
out
以
well
下。
for me. I had a lot of fun, so I'm just saying. Good idea.
There's some
Yeah,
people in the chat
KSG の
saying
ドゥーム
both
は
having
通用するかも
LCK
しれないから。
flashbacks. Dude, we're having
ドゥームメタだから
contenders
KSG は
flashbacks
ワンチャンあ
right
るけど。
now. This goes well beyond LCK the last couple
I
days.
mean, this is
ドゥームが苦手めな
as
メイン
far
タ
as
ンク
we know, peripheral slash sound
を相手にす
issue.
ればワンチャン
So,
あるけ
Sorry,
ど。
audio issue. I have production in my
okay,
ear. Wolf does
audio.
not.
So it is an audio issue. So now that we have that confirmation, these are not the pauses that scare me. The
Yeah.
pauses that scare me are some sort of controversial
ぶっちゃけこのメ
disconnect,
タ
a
が
really
チャンスっちゃチャンス
pivotal
なの。
moment. Like those are the ones that are going to go a long
KSG
time. It's going to be a lot of
ゲー
discussion
ムを
about
得意として
fairness
る
and stuff like that.
KSG
We just got to
としては
make sure somebody's headsets work
これほ
properly.
ど
This will be quick,
世
man.
界に
30
挑戦
minutes
したいメタ
tops,
は
and
ない
that's
かもし
worst
れない
case。scenario. I'm saying probably like 7 minutes maximum would be all I'd say. If somebody asked me like, you think we'll be in the game in 7 minutes? I'd be like, if we're not in 5, I'll be surprised, but 7 is the longest. 30 is like, okay, we got to get some new tech people. Like, what's going on? But you had recently a quite long pause with audio as well. So.
Yes, I did. That one was about 6 hours. It was a whale of a time. If you know, you know. Shout out to Carpe. That's all I'll say. Anyway, looks like we are back into this one nice and quick. So let's get things started. And from the outset, it is going to be that Doom
Wait a
coming
minute.
through. And hey,
The Doom Tracer Echo with Lucio Kiriko?
I can't believe
It's a
it.
Korean Overwatch. This is the only comp.
All right. Well, in we go. Right now, it's just going to be Jade and Becky going back and forth here in the skies, trying to whittle away at each other. Sticky Bomb's not going to be connecting there. So Lee Min going to be taking
スミン
very
がちょっと
low.
落ちそうだが、まあ耐える。
As we see Pepe going on the hunt. Crowd getting jumped on here.
裏
I mean,
裏に
Hyunjae is
い
really
い仕事
getting
して
out
ろ。
of
おっとワン
space
ピック取った。
He will be able to find Ain, and now right in front of him, Lee Min looking for the kill, and they will be able to find it. Becky
Poker has
going
a
to do
point.
Proud finding one as well. As the cleanup will continue.
I mean, Proud
Rebound,
just-
and they first locked into the point, going the way of Poker Face.
Proud just hard carried that fight. And I think Sin Priza didn't really handle it very well. Hyunjae kind of turning on him there, but losing a ton of his health. And once the damage went out there for Proud, Becky just dropped from the sky and finished them off. And that's first control to Poker Face.
Very strong opening volley. I mean, Lee Min getting bullied around as much as he was. You can see down by 14% towards that Kitsune rushes. Iris, I might
こうなるとだから
just to go ahead
本
and
当に
say
戦ってて生き残ってた
everybody
方の
when they
サ
get
ポート
tilted.
もアルティメッ
Dangerous close to having that rush online.
トは先に上がるか
Yeah,
ら、
very, very close.
ポーカーフェイスの方が有利
Becky
なんだな。
just
2回目のエンゲージまではま
Proud have to
順当に
recall.
いくと
That's
取れる
not ideal.
バロラントのセカンドラウンドぐらい余裕があるんだこれ。
Pulse bomb down the floor, not able to find a thing. Argon now with
Oh,
one of his
wow,
own,
yeah,
trying to see if he's going to be able to find a target. Proud in the meantime, right back into the pipe, finds Hyunjae, Pepe diving forward,
Yeah.
it's Lee Min, so now support Lee
ここまでは
Min
取れる
going
ん
to
だ
have to back up. It's just that Kitsune rush being committed here from the side of Iris. And that's going to be Poker Face now getting ready to push past
ここでいかに
50%.
ウルト吐かせるかってい
Crushing
う
victory
ところ
here
が
for Poker
実
Face.
はあって、
Kitsune Rush committed,
ここからバロラントと
otherwise
いう
just
ところの
really
サードラウンドが始
using
ま
their
る。
advantage positionally.
俺もバロラントの競技シーン見始めたから分かるんだけど、
attempt here on those
ここから
members. He could actually force Argon's recall, which he did. Massive advantage for
負け
them.
た側
And the
の
minions
バイラウン
down
ドが
now
始
as
まる。
well.
Crowd again recalling as those sticking
それで
bombs
負けた側のバイラウンドがこの3回目のエンゲージできて
push forward here from some
アルティメット
decent
交換
odds given the
を
ults
うま
that
くい
they
ける
do
かっていう
have here, but Genjay about to get that beat online will be matched by Faith on the opposite side.
こうおきつねとサウンドバリアがあるわけよ。
To the skies, keeping himself safe. Tsune Rush comes in.
それだけ考えるとこうめちゃめちゃ有利な
Back
の。
forward, popping out here. Duke onto the Doom Fist. Becky putting
正
him
直
in
デュームコピーなんて怖くもなんともないのよ。
both gonna be taken
ウ
down.
ルトの履き合いになるとこれ取れるんだよ。
Cleanup does
サポートのアルティメッ
continue.
トってやっぱ
Down
強い
to
から
sort of HP 24 remaining here for him, but he'll be able to get healed back up, and the flip should come through here for Sinprissa as the kills are.
弱いサポートのアル
Yeah,
ティメットって
and
ない
they
か
did it very ult efficiently as well. Poker Face
強く
only
ない
getting
サポートのアル
90
ティメッ
here,
トある
will
か
have
も
to
しれ
build
ないけど
back up. Still not the end of the world for them.
サポートのアル
because
ティメ
they
ットっ
did
て
get
マ
that
ジで基本的に
90%.
強
This
い
was
よう
like
に
a
できてるから
45, you'd be feeling terrible, but Argon now going to look for backline access here, maybe try to force a
アプリケー
Suzu.
ションマート X とか使い勝手悪いけど
Already burned there, so
Dude,
it's
that's
going
it.
to be down there from Iris, but Pulse Bomb still held. Argonaut trusting in the opening that he found.
ポーカーフェイスが
The
さ
Doom is there for a
バルズボムし
second.
かない
Now
から
he
ここも
slots
譲
down
る
on the
ね
floor, but won't be able to find a stick, but it doesn't matter.
いわゆる
Here's
エコラウンド
Becky both going to be taken out. HP bars falling low. There's just only so much that Faith can do here. The rest of the team going to have to be backpedaling over towards the spawn room once more. So Sinprissa, again, efficient, you know, one
Yeah.
off use.
90% まで止めてからこのエコラウンドができる。
Needed.
Nope.
They managed to hold the line.
Let's see if Tuyu is going
で
to
きれ
catch
ば
any members
こ
here
のラウンドでアイリス
on
の
the
こ
approach. Nope, just going to go back defensively.
船を
Like
上げ
this
て
position.
こで勝負を
Hold
仕
the
掛けたい
point
ところなん
itself
だ
and
が
let them come to you. Buy more
ちょっと
time.
エンゲージ
You
ま
don't
で時
actually
間を
have to be
稼
the
ぎたい
defensive engager.
Oh, Argon
あわよくワンピック
stays alive. Recall here.
気にしないことだけ
Good
あ
punch.
あわよくワンピックが取れたらもう勝負が決まる
Taken down, Proud around the corner, takes out Argon.
ここからアイリスと
Kills,
貯めて
and
おきつねで勝負が決まるか
Duke will
ら
get broken out very quickly. Back up into the skies to try to find some kind of trading kill, some kind of trading damage, but it's actually going to be too.
あアイリス吐かずに死んだ
A little bit more here for the side of Sinprissa.
すぐダブルキルいやーこれでかい
Finds the second kill. Proud going to be eliminated now. Becky going to be
吐かず
gone.
にいけると思ったか
Without the supports, without the DPS, and now without the tank, Faith once again sliding back over towards the spawn room. But actually, no, he's on Coast side, grabbing that mega pack to try to stay alive, and now has to jump into the drink to go for the quick reset. 77% here for
So I
Sinprissa.
really just didn't think they were going to be able to do it off of Tuyu's
ずーっと考え
ultimate.
れ
I
ば
thought it was a
余裕
really
だけど
optimistic choice, but he was
ちょっと踏み方
confident he
が
was going to be
危ない
able
ん
to
だ
get
よね
that follow-up punch. He takes down two. They buy enough time, and it's actually even on the sound barriers, believe it or not, here for these two
人形
right
と
now.
も
And
えて踏む
really
や
going
つ
to be
タ
about
ッチ
the
になる
opening
か
pick
ら
on this next fight. Very likely to decide everything. Poker Face slight
ルー
ult
ムかトレー
advantage,
サー
but
が
the
タッチ
sound
ってい
barrier
う
might
形にな
just,
るから
you know, basically make that nothing.
これやるとするとこうやってトレーサーに裏取られるん
Putting
ですよ
some damage down on it. Iris says that Kitsune Rush does come in.
鈴を無駄遣いとか
Just kind of trying
手
to
数多
ignore
いな
the
くなる
Tracer
か
and just continue plus forwarding. In the
ら
meantime,
こ
they
の
can push up the
バラン
point.
ス差
Flip
を
is
アルティメットで取れる
there.
か
Fourth battle here between the Tracers, but now, oh, Faith, he intervenes, he gets involved, ruining the 1v1, but Argon does get dropped. Here's strike down here on top of this defense way.
お互いのサウンドバリ
Too
ア
much damage to the sound barriers get dropped in from both sides. Damage flying through. A Duke now out on
キリコのコピー
this
流行ってんの
Kiriko, looking to try to build a Kitsune Rush, which be critical for them here to try to win out the rest of this fight. But
Bravo,
Proud
what?
is still doing God's work out there for them. Finds 2 kills. Hyundai taken down, and now OT going to start bleeding away as they start getting cleared off the point. The stick is in, so is the Suzu, so they cleanse it off. Kill not going to be found. Things become that much more difficult here for the side of Sinprissa. The rest of the team resetting, trying to get themselves in here, but they get off the point for a brief little moment, and that is going to be 100-99 going the way of Poker Face.
Proud having a really good game on this Tracer thus far. There were some shaky moments, you could say, kind of in the middle of that first round, but I think overall making a very much larger impact than his opponent on the other side, Argon, on the Tracer, and that really ended up being the deal breaker. Tuyu's Doomfist, though, very clean so far. Really good at getting those backline targets, forcing out recalls, forcing out Suzus, and finding some really critical picks. As the round started off as the Proud show, it did kind of become the Proud show at the end as well. Here is they unfortunately just chase down and kill Argon. He's not able to pulse there. This call here from Becky to actually steal the Kiriko is quite nice because it gives him a ton of extra sustain, and also Kiriko does a decent amount of damage herself too.
Oh yeah, especially if you're going to be connecting with those right clicks. The kunais can do quite a bit of damage to the opponents. Things opened up the neutral fight beginning. Becky taking quite a bit of damage. Pulls back here behind the stairs, but no, actually drifts up into the air for a brief little moment.
内藤哲也っ
Gets
て
taken down, and
いわゆる正体
look at that.
高橋裕次郎の人生みたいなところあるからな
Action.
In my Overwatch game, a
All right,
pause
so let's see who it is. Looking like
right there.
It's gonna be Faith.
Looks like it's gonna be Faith. Okay, it's a peripheral issue this time around.
Yep.
So we'll just unplug it, plug it back in. Hopefully that works. Update the USB drivers, whatever.
Anyone know that Windows? You know, that's what he's hearing right now.
The little disconnect, reconnect sound. Well, I mean, the last one was fairly quick, so hopefully this is going to be the case. Obviously not at a super instrumental point. There's no team fight happening at the moment here. It was just that neutral exchange where we did see Becky getting eliminated. So as far as needing to resume in the middle of a chaotic fight where ult's about to be used, we are at least not in that kind of scenario.
Yeah. It should be fine. It is significant in where it occurred. So like, so we could talk about this in terms of would we ever regame here? And the answer is quite complicated because 100% you say no. If you're SPG, you're like, absolutely not. I'm not going to allow that. But the possibility of a regame is there because it was a non-consequential early pick on the second round of control before the cap was open. Stuff like that, if they determine that it did affect what was going on in the game. But I really don't think they will decide that because Faith was not the one who died. I actually don't even remember who died. Who died?
That was Becky. So it looks like we are ready to resume, and we are. Aiden out in the skies, beams coming through. And so far, yeah, it has just been that only casualty there.
Everything's fine.
So everything all good.
Except not for Poker Face. They're going to lose the point.
Well, yeah, they don't get the first cap here. We'll see if they're going to be able to reply back, though.
Yeah, look at the attempt here to get Proud's recall. It is successful, so that's down. Becky finding it very difficult to actually get an approach angle here. As Tracer without recall means there's no pressure, and Sinpriza have just such an extra amount of time here to be aggressive to you. The focal point.
Drive over to you, looking for that peel, put some good damage down onto Faith, who has to make his exit out. Becky again gonna get caught. This time it's gonna be Aid. Down with that beam to you, just leaping up onto the high ground. Staying safe, limit testing as much as humanly possible here with this Doomfist, and so far it's looking good as that. Nearly takes out Faith. I mean, Aid absolutely on one right now.
Yeah, he really is. He's having a great game here. It's a great round, that is to say, and extra damage there. They execute, not able to get the pick, but it's going to be enough damage to push them away, and they control the point further. Peppy has a health advantage right now. See if he can try to push it into the enemy Doomfist, but the rest of his team isn't here yet. Grouping up now for it.
Becky on the return was able to find that opening pick there on his gun, but now Aid's going to be going for the Doomfist. Another Doomfist into the fight, so I mean, there's two of you that he's got to work with here as he's going to be broken out of that Doom damn quickly. But now he's back up in the sky in the meantime. Proud, able to find Argon, looking to heat up a little bit more here in this round at the same. Dive across the way there to just putting in some more damage with the seismic slams, puts the fist up, looking to mitigate, gets a quick punch there onto Proud. Work him a little bit lower, but now the beam comes in. Becky is drifting down from the skies. Going to fall. MJ wisely just allowing himself to die, holding onto the sound barrier. We'll go for a reset here on the side of Poker Face. They get the flip, but 80% set up here from SPG.
The formation for Poker Face was fantastic. They grouped kind of in a circle and surrounded to you. That's why the observing was showcasing too the entire time, because he was about to get his meteor strike, but they were able to focus him down before he did. Great coordination from Poker Face to get the retake here. Tons of ultimates available for both squads here for this next fight, but I think it's really just going to be about, again, the tanks. And if they can get that focus down, Doomfist, the core of these compositions. Argon only using one blink. Okay, he's going in, misses.
Oh, looking for it, but had the cooldown there. On the drift up, did Becky managing to avoid that pulse bomb. Back up into the sky. Good punch there from Peppy, but still low on HP. Becky with some good peel damage. Finds the pick there onto Aid. Peppy eventually just gets overwhelmed and gets taken down. Sound barrier, however, was burned there from Hyunjae. Faith now going to be committing into the fight. The rest of the players here as they wait for Peppy to try to rejoin. For now, I mean, Sinprissa trying to tell the Bay. Meteor Strike available to dive into the back line to you, trying to disrupt there onto Iris. Unable to really find it. Now punched into the wall, isolated. Taken down as Becky is able to collect the kill. And Poker Face now looking way more stable after a bit of a rocky start here on this round.
I was a little bit...
Becky going crazy, but he is still here in the Duke form, and now he's going to make his exit out to safety.
I was a little bit worried for Poker Face after the sound barrier was so lackluster. Didn't use it for Peppy, but then they bought enough time. Then Becky's like, well, we don't have a Doomfist, but I could become one. He played it very well there, and Poker Face actually are able to stave off the pressure there. I thought they were going to lose control for sure on the follow-up push, but really good call from Becky. And it works out very successfully, good decision-making.
Narrow margins, but they'll make it work. Now tied up, taking the lead here is Poker Face. As they crest past 80%, the ultimate's coming online here. It's going to be rush for rush, and Becky first to fall. Peppy going to be taken down as well. Lisa Min finding the kill confirmed there out onto the enemy
Yeah,
too.
one time in the
Lance coming here from Proud, dashing out the safety as much as he possibly can, leaving Iris all to his own devices. So up to 98%, Simprissa now gaining control.
でもってアルティメット温存したの
One final
は
fight to decide this round and potentially the
イン
map.
プリ
Poker
ザゲーミン
Face
グの方だから
up
なこれ
one round here, but Simprissa in control. Argon gonna have a pulse. Proud as well. We're watching the
So
tracers right now to see if they can find
copy
any
no side.
backline access. Proud wraps all the way around here. Contests the point as well. Twofold value.
触れるわ
Loses
触れる
recall though.
For that one. Forces out this OT. Peppy now diving forward. Multiple tools to work with here on the side of Simfrissa's. Poker Face desperately trying to get theirs online. Pulse bomb out. Finding Proud. He gets taken down.
Oh,
Pulse
so
bomb goes well. It's going to be broken out of this duplicate. Not finding too much there. The touch comes back in.
エイドは結果出せなかった
Trying
け
to
ど
close this one out, but now Aid eliminated.
どこか
Argon down to half HP. Peppy as well.
はい、ウルトを持って上がる
Down very low. Gets a little bit of extra green shielding there. It was punched.
Oh, that's
They
big.
don't keep it contested. And it was looking pretty decent there from the side of Poker Face.
Yeah,
The
I
kills
mean,
were
that's-
flying through, but there was too distracted,
さっ
too
き一つのヒュンで倒
bloodthirsty.
せればワンチャンあったのね
That's basically a
I think
C9.
they C9'd it.
First C9 of OWC or
OWCS.
yes, I really struggle to say it. Overwatch Championship Series Korea first C9. And so
これ全て
that
C9 っていうのは
is
かわいそうな
not
気が
what
す
you
る
were
けど
looking for because the fight was being won. And as you could see in the slow-mo
Ah, they were C9 to
post-cap,
C9 だもんね
or post-round, they were winning the fight there as well, getting those additional eliminations, but not able to actually contest the point properly. Juggling it was an issue. So it is going to a third and final round. And man, I feel like this has been very back and forth. We have not seen, you know, really any clear like role gapping of any kind.
Oh, yeah, I mean-
It's really just about the performances on each and every team fight.
All around so far, they have been neck and neck, but Poker Face might be kicking themselves if they let this map get away from them. You know, because of
フィニッ
that
シュカフェだ評価
minor C9 there.
ニュークで張り
Good the dive forward, taking quite a bit of damage. Good movement there from Poker Face to try to elude the lion's share of that one. He as well getting worked lower and
関
lower.
心ピザゲーミングが広がったか
Heals. The push forward here, Proud.
広がったから
Apply some pressure
ワ
on
ン
the
ピック
opposing
取れないといけ
Echo.
ど
Some low, but kill's not going to be found yet. Good
ちょっと怖かったな
Peppy,
今
stun on the
ワンピッ
two.
ク取れ
Proud
た
there to capitalize this time around, and Hyunjae's going to be taken down. So first locked into the point, going the way of Poker Face.
No safe
広がると
observers,
ルショーが取れるんだよな
okay, Proud. Bit of a stagger setup here. The observers like to show the tracer and then swap to the echo for first-person view because you see the tracer layer a ton of damage in, and then the echo comes in and uses the beam to get the
自分のパンキン
execution
グのカバー
finishing
もくれる
blows
し
on those
ヒールも
characters
切る
that
から
are
若干遅
targeted.
いし
Usually the Doomfist, sometimes though enemy DPS, and the duo of Proud and Becky on that first fight really working well together there with Peppy pushing things through with a speed boost. See how well they can hold.
Just up looking for that follow-up punch
Ooh,
there.
whoa, I think-
Stun
I-
2-2-U, but pulse bomb from Proud used first
レイ
and
ストビは
foremost.
もうこれ
Kill
普通に上
not
がっ
gonna
て
be
る
found. Faster build up
相
here.
手が上げる前にワンピック取りたいが
Unleashing it, but now Ears having one to match. Goes ahead
先
and
に
pops
アイ
it
リ
as
スも上
well.
がった
The HP bars on the side of Simprissa Gaming. Looking
ナイス
a
パ
little
ル
bit
ス
for wear, but now that stick
コ
comes
ピ
in.
ーで耐えた
Becky avoiding
ファイン
that.
プレイにも程があるだろ
Popping that dupe. Gets the copy there onto the enemy Kiriko to keep himself safe and alive. Now Hyunjae taken down once more. And not much that he can do here. Having gone for the Doomfist will eventually just be broken out. Now
Doom
he's trying to
copy
exit out the
はもう
safety, but with no
た
HP,
組み込
he
むタク
will
だよ
fall. The cleanup continues, and Poker Face looking very firmly in control this time
Yeah,
around.
and with the sound barrier advantage too. I mean, by the time we get to 99, Hyunjae should be able to build one, but still, the fact that they have this early means they can win a pretty decisive fight here and take it on their terms if they're able to identify Hyunjae does not have barrier. Gonna use it, that's what I'm talking about. Start it
あ
off,
ー
push them
ありがとう
off.
ねしっかり的に仕掛けた
All the way forward here. Just keep them at bay. 75%.
ちょっと取れない
For the side of
取れ
Poker
ないとやばい
Face. The knocked into the
とりあえ
corner.
ず逆にヒュンジャーのサウンドバリアが上が
Back
る
up to safety, keeps himself alive. Ritual ultimates getting ready to come online here for the side of Simprissa. They're gonna have to throw everything in the kitchen sink at this point just to get the flip, just to get the percentage ticking up. In the meantime,
そうだ
Proud
な
on the back line looking for
後ろワンピックぐらい
targets.
しないと
The spot there.
この水勝ち目はない
Trying to get the stick.
できない
Will do so, and that's gonna be the sound barrier now coming through. But 8 already taken down, so he's not in the fight. He's not receiving that extra shielding. A good punch, however, from 2U. Takes out Iris. Turns his sight into the back lines here of Poker Face. While riding another hit. Becky taken low. Silver bait remaining for him. Now going to be finished off too. You trying to do
なんとか抑えてるか。
doing his damnedest to keep them in this
なん
fight.
とか抑えて、
Looks
数
like it may
キ
just
ツ
be
ネ
enough
温
to be able
存
to get the
キツネ
flip,
温
especially
存
as
これで
Proud
か
goes
い。
down. So we're not done yet.
Not done yet. I feel like
One
Poker Face using that initial
engaging
sound barrier, the
の保証を
first
得たよね。
identifying they had sound barrier advantage was absolutely the right call. They're able to then force Simprisa to use a lot of their tools, and they all in them after the barrier and continue to force those resources out. Hyunjae now doesn't have his barrier. Faith is 10% ahead. They're going to have their matching Kitsune rush as well.
早めに仕掛けて
And
もあ
they
んまりいい
have
ことないな。っ
all the opportunities now.
て
It's
ことはアイリスの
99-15.
キツネも上がるんだ。
Recall forced
キツネ
here.
5分の状態で戦わなきゃい
Tags
けない。
out,
あ
taking
ーっと、
down
プラウダー
Proud
先に落とした。
Coming through once more here from the side of Poker Face as they look to finish out this map.
クリアを少しずつ攻めなが
These
ら、
guys there from
攻めながらアンピック
A.
取れ
Trying
る
to
か。
build up towards
ア
that
ン
Duke.
ピック
Proud
取れるか。
somehow surviving, managed
アン
to
ピック
pop
取れな
that
い。
recall.
クリアを譲るしかない。
Stuck into the wall. Himself in this fight. Most
ク
DPS
リア
ults
を
here
譲
for
る
the side of
っていう
Simprisa.
か、
They need them to
触れるか。
find
触
value.
ってはいる。触ってはいるが。
Onto the Doomfist diving
キルに
back
繋がらない。
line.
キルに繋がらない。
The break is in. Aid right back out. Taken down right
パン
back
チ
to
が
the
当たらない。
spawn room as Becky finds one. Argan
キルを取ってんのは
eliminated.
ポーカーフェイスだわ。
Proud
う
able to
わ
find the kill. DPS is now tankless. Arson, Prison.
カウン
It
ト
looks
バ
like
リア
they're
も上
going
が
to
り
be
そうだったのに。
map-less as Poker Face looks to close
アルティメ
this
ット
one out with
3
a 2-1, and they shall.
They will do it. Very much a decisive
なんとも微
win
妙な差だ
on
な。
the final round here from Poker Face, looking very clean and utilizing their ultimates very well and constantly trying to threaten and pressure the backline. And when they
良くも
had
悪く
sound
も
barrier
コンテンター
advantages, they
ズ
were able to
上位
basically
レベル
maintain
の
throughout that entire round. And you know, the
チームだよ
ways
ね。
in which you can approach this final
こ
point
の
of
2チーム
Samoa
が
are really difficult
ほ
when
ぼ
you're
他
behind
他
like that and
の
you don't
チ
actually
ームの
have
ほ
your
ぼ
ults.
リ
So
ーガ
when
ー
you
の
do
チ
have
ー
your
ム
ults, you're
に
gonna have to use
どう
them
やって
wastefully.
戦うか
So
が注目であるんだ
when they
って
lost control only that one
5対
time,
5の
they
試
had
合
already,
は
while losing the point, gained
こ
so
こ2
many
チームの
other
試合は
advantages. And I think at
五
that
分じゃない
point,
と困
if
る。
you were Simprisa, you have to really be extremely efficient, and they just weren't able to do it the entire way through. And that's a tall order for 99% of cap to actually get all the way up to 100 and not make any mistakes. As it is kind of feeling like a little bit of the Proud show as well in terms of the player that's the big standout.
Yeah, I mean, that was an incredible display from him overall. I mean, getting the pulse bombs, out onto Argon of all people. I mean, we were just talking about Zest and how he was kind of the only one who was able to really achieve that in the last season of the Overwatch League and was doing it with some regularity. Wasn't able to find that too much here today, but it was a really strong beginning here for the side of Proud, but hard fought. So I think, maybe painting a very similar picture compared to what we saw between Falcons and Runaway this series. It feels like it's very far from over.
Oh, definitely so. See if we have any substitutions moving into hybrid, because that is where we have seen oftentimes the tank subbed out, and we'll see if that is going to be the case once again here.
It looks like it's going to be maybe Faith actually on the end.
Well, Iris took his heads off as well, but yeah, I see a lurking Simple over there. So we'll see if he decides to come in. I don't think it was a bad game for Faith by any means, but definitely I think getting outclassed in some parts of that second round. I mean, Becky here really following up on Proud's damage extremely well. That's what I was talking about with the observers earlier. Argon found some really nice sticks, but sometimes the timing of them was after his team had already kind of lost the team fight, so it didn't work out as well for him. I see a lot of people saying, that Becky and Proud were the better DPS duo. I think that's true. I do think that came to be the case, but I think it was closer than it looks because a lot of those team fights were just so much better coordinated by Poker Face that, obviously Aid and Argon looked worse by default because they were fighting losing battles.
Yeah, I mean, there was a bit of time there, though, for A. I mean, was really having the number of Becky. Becky just wasn't able to find too much value. Just kept getting picked off time and time again. But, I mean, it felt like everything collectively clicked once more for the side of Poker Face. And the synergy just came back to the forefront for the team, for them to be able to just have a very dominant closeout on that last round. So, solid moves coming through. But, like I said, looking close between the two squads. A little bit of more of a warm-up here. For the side of Simprisa could very well lead to an extended series between these two as we get ready to find out, what our hybrid map is going to be after the highlights.
Yeah, that is the question. This one doesn't feel like as much of a tank outclassing as we saw in the Runaway series. Like, Tuyu, I think, definitely looked to be stronger at a lot of points. He had some really high highs, but I think Pepe was also very solid, and Iris did a great job of keeping him alive. And that's a good sign for this series being competitive, because my read on these Doomfist Tracer Echo comps so far is that the Doomfist can make the highest impact. Yes, Tracer ended up getting a ton of value in both of our series so far, and like we even had an Echo becoming Tracer be kind of the defining point for Falcons earlier. And Tracer, I think, has one of the highest ceilings, but I think you can't do it if your tank is losing the frontline battle. You're just going to get overwhelmed. So that is a good sign for the series being competitive.
Yeah. Looks like maybe it's finalizing some of the swaps and everything on stage. As, yeah, it is going to be Simple coming in, so Faith going to be gone over onto the bench to watch and see if the rest of his squad can maintain this lead that he helped establish for them.
Once they find out Simple's plan, our viewership is going to quadruple, man.
Oh, God. The GOAT.
The GOAT.
He's on stage in Korea, of all places. But, hey, look at this.
Oh, two Kings in a row. And now we're just, we monkey's paw that I was going to be King's Row for the rest of the season. And we're going to be like, oh, anything but King's Row, please.
That could very well be the case. Or maybe this is just good old King's Row Korean comfort coming through here.
We did see Hollywood, but it was the Roadhog Hollywood game that I don't want to talk about in the Japan.
But we can talk about it now. Nozzle has a win.
He
did not win on Hollywood, but that's that. I feel like I haven't seen Hollywood because I did see it, but it wasn't a whole lot of gameplay.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I will be real with you.
I think I might have been casting that one with you, actually, in fact.
Yep.
And
that was my first day.
Yeah, let's see if it does happen in this tournament, but otherwise we obviously have seen the most of Blizzard World. And no tank subs, so I think that is a sign that we might actually just be going both teams. Doomfist, Tracer, Echo. That's kind of been the name of the game, hasn't it, Achilles?
Could be. There's a proud fan there.
ひらがなカタカナもきっとそうなんだけど全く読めないよ
for him and for a good reason. It's quite the performance there at the beginning.
中国語って漢字だから日本人もある程度なんとなくわかるし
between Runaway and Falcons as well as what we just witnessed
韓国でも漢字使ってる人はいなかないだろう
would be somewhat surprising. Though I guess I should say, you know, we obviously we did
韓国語と日本語だけは誰もわかんない
we did see the diva.
Yeah.
So
I don't think we're going to see that here, but I would love to. I don't think anyone's going to be able to adapt and copy a Hanbin's strategy that they showed on King's Road that quickly.
In my brain, I was just like, no, that was stupid, but I'm thinking of a lot of the duplicates that we kept having from the fight from time to time. But let's see what they do have for us and whether or not maybe just butterfly effect Widowmaker shot can happen here as it did in that previous series.
I mean, we'll have to wait and see.
確かに両方とも手で持つ紙だけどみたいな
how he is going to perform. And looks like we don't have any issues this time around. Get your headset on, Becky. I'm not going to have an Uber moment here. This is just, we're just getting into map 2.
Yeah, we just want to
put your headset on, son. We're about to start the game.
It's time to begin the game. Looks like some final checks here, perhaps from the refs before we get things underway.
Any loading screens? I think that they're probably just booting into the map now, I imagine. There's no one taking the headsets off anymore. King's Row time, 2 for 2, Achilles.
2 for 2 and maybe 3 for 3 because, of course, we also do have a third series here
That's
today
right.
on the opening day. I mean, we're pretty much going to have 3 series just about every single day.
Yes,
so
almost every day.
We'll just be, will be a regular thing for y'all to look forward to. But, of course, you know, tons and tons of Overwatch.
50% more Overwatch than what we used to cast together before Overwatch League here in the past.
Yeah, very true.
We're upping it for you guys.
Up in the ante, up in the regions, because it's not just Korea that we are, of course, covering. We do have Pacific as well as Japan as individual regions that are competing alongside Korea, which will then funnel into some international competition.
I wonder, you know,
some majors throughout the year.
I wonder if Simple is coming in to play, I mean, just theory crafting, if he's coming in to play Moira, and they're going to run some sort of, you know, Moira Genji push style composition like we saw from Runaway. Definitely could be the case. Or actually, I think it was Falcons that ran that. My bad. But yeah, that we saw in the Runaway series. And because it's very strong on A, you know, very ult efficient, you know, in terms of building the charge up. But it looks like we're finally in. It's happening, Achilles. That music means it's time for game 2.
That music does. But I'm going to wait until I see the game feed before I get super excited about it.
Come on, we don't just press the dubstep button unless we're going into the game, Achilles. Nobody would ever do that to us. No one would ever just press the dubstep button because they're like, wow, these guys' pause talk is a little sus. It's not as usual. It's not as good as the good old Wolf Achilles experience. I think it needs to be a little bit more high tempo. Press the dubstep button.
Maybe they're just trying to keep us jazzed. Maybe that's the case. But just given some of the more laid-back conversations that I'm seeing happening between the players on the stage, I'm thinking that this was an accidental dubstep.
If you press the dubstep button, though, it means I have to keep talking like this. There is no way I can actually just go back to casual, calm conversation.
I cannot come down off this high. I have hit a new peak. I have to maintain this.
Okay, they turned it off. They turned it off.
They turned it off, and we're actually going to come back on camera. So it seems like we do have another issue that we are going to take care of. And now that the music is gone, it's okay. You can calm down. You can breathe. I'm here. You're in a safe place.
Somebody press the I get it button. Hey, wait, whoa. It's happening. See? They're pressing the dubstep button again, and we came in the game.
Okay, now the second dubstep is the realist.
大きく構成の違い、構成の会話なさそうな気がするけど、キングスローだと。
Good to go. This table's made out of wood. Knock on that real quick.
Yeah, it's got some protective, covering on it, so it's harder to knock on it. But you successfully did. Can confirm.
All right. Now we can get down to brass tacks.
Uh-oh. Is that a 2U diva I see? Hold up.
Well, let's take a look at what Poker Face is going to be bringing, because they are on this defense.
Sigma.
I was curious if maybe Simple could play Ana, which was a little bit puzzling to me, because I was like, well, Iris plays a lot of Ana.
高台に陣取れるから、マジックでアナの方が安定して入れしやすいっていうのは分かんないから。
Maybe they read the diva that we're seeing a lot more on King's Row right now. They want to try to burst it down with the Discord orb, because it is going to be diva, at least for the spot here. And they're going to commit. So let's see if they can actually discord this diva and burst her down. That's something Runaway wasn't able to do. They didn't have the counter composition. It's also Reaper here.
Yeah, very different looks here between the two teams. As Aid does come out with that Reaper. Argon over onto the Genji. 2U already going to be taking a lot of damage, but Argon diving in, able to find Simple. You take Anti out for a brief little moment there. Does get sustained back up to full. Iris is able to find Aid. 1 for 1, but a very slow hover back from Simple to rejoin the fight. That's Zenyatta as Argon's pushing up on the high ground, looking to try to contest it out this window.
Swap coming through for Aid as well.
Too much here as 2U getting on top of Iris and needs some heal, but it's just none to be found. He just goes pushing through, able to find the elimination there. Jake, in the meantime, going to be traded down. Min going to be taken down as well. So both supports on from the side of Simprissa, and also have not really been occupying the point too much. Everybody's been playing away from it. Everyone's been high ground control, which
look at the health on Aid and 2U right now. They are so low, and they're going to have to back off. So that should be enough time for Iris to get back to the point, which is really critical because Ana is going to take a very, very long time to rejoin, and she will be able to arrive in time for this defense here.
She does, but because they don't go for any health packs, Lisa Min gets himself so very close to that Kitsune Rush as he respawns, just getting 2U back up to full HP. Becky going to be taken down there by the Diva. Pulse bomb at the ready here from Proud. So he's going to be able to find a target, but again, dealing with this Diva. Now you have to worry about that D-Matrix. Beam in, can't be eliminated. That's another slow run back here. I mean, it's just...
I think that's the cap.
Yeah, I mean, the team is, unfortunately, for the side of Poker Face, just so damn slow. They can't really do anything quickly. So that is going to be the cap, just shy of 5 minutes here from Simprissa.
Yeah, I think the slow runbacks just mean that attacker's advantage for Simprissa just allows you to pick somebody and then overwhelm. They wanted to try to play back around that archway until Iris thought they arrived, but then they weren't on the point, so they couldn't get anything on them. Simprissa are able to make this push work without blade, without sound barriers, so extremely efficient for them, and that means they actually have great tools to use to contest B if they can push through this archway, and so far so good.
だからあえてこれアナシでしか出せないわけで、絶対この試合のおいての最適解はアナじゃないんで。
Push forward here off the back of the Kitsune Rush. Deflection going to be used, just opening up space. Not finding too much else though, as Proud will fall. Now the dive in. Nano going to be committed here on the Peppy to try to keep him alive in this fight. Now there's another Sigma in the lobby. Aim going for the duplicate, being over. One very quickly there by Becky, so unable to build up towards that flux. Becky in the meantime, sending out the self-destruct, unable to find too much of anything there. Got the melee hit plus the anti in onto Argon to shut down the Dragon Blade. That one does not find much value at all.
この
I think it's time to
ずっとい
swap.
っぱいエンゲージ止め
Well, I
た。
think it's time to see a good old Diva Stagger.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see that. As will not be remaking.
Nope.
And
Aid is going for Sombra.
まあ、
he
2
built
変え
up
る
a
か。
decent amount of ult
感
charge,
覚
so he
に
might
そうだ
stick
け
with
ど
this Diva for one more push, but otherwise this comp is
ウルトある
past
からもう
its
一回。
prime and
Ooh,
has
wait, yep.
has the self-destruct ready. So Sinpriza here should be able to use this to get onto the cart and look for one big push to build EMP.
Back on the Becky, he's just going to be backpedaling there as Aid gets taken down. Soundbarrier is still
ワンピック
committed.
取られたからサウン
Still
ドバリア
going
で
to try to
強引
push
に。
forward.
これはよくある。
Taken down now. That looks very
Remake.
possible for them. Anti
So,
out.
one pick trying to
Back,
get
the self-destruct is there, however, so 2U should be safe to get right back into it, and he is. Genji under a little bit of fire.
Back
Pushing forward. He's able to take down Iris. Another elimination as he will get beamed down, but I mean, it just
これが
feels
ル
like
シ
for
オの
every
可
kill
能
the
性だよ。
Pokerface got there, Sinprisa managing to find 2.5 of them.
I mean, with some of the nerfs to ult charge building, Sombra can feel very rough to play if you're not able to efficiently build. They
ダメージレースに
do
か
end
かっ
up
た
winning
試合
that
に勝っ
fight
ちゃい
though
ない。
off of a really big dive, and the remake comes through from 2U. Aid, however, doesn't build a lot of EMP, so pretty inefficient in that regard. See if Pokerface can hold them here, because this could be a disaster actually for SPG, as this just was not the efficient push they really needed to continue that momentum. Cannot really lose this fight. Good hack.
And on
Yeah,
the
you
Japan
know, you
cannot
focus.
stay alive. That's where you need the nano really to try to bail him out, but they're still just going to be 19% away from that one. Pulse bomb lobbed in, and just dropping off the high ground to avoid
ソンブラをよりこのフォーカスしなきゃいけない形にしたのは
That
悪い疑惑だと
was
思うんだ
here
よ。
on to the Diva. Some targets, looking for some deals, setting up that D matrix.
使いづらいのもこ
Chase
れがある
forward here along the rest of the team to try to hunt for
これ
something.
ブロンズっていう魔境からソンブラで抜けたから
Bail
さ
out Hail Mary chuck of a
ワンピック取っ
self-destruct,
て
looks like he's going to come up
安
shy.
全に帰ってこれる
Yeah,
のは
not
ソン
going
ブ
to
ラだ
build
けだ
enough
った。
damage there, and so that's duped down now. It will be able to defend the cart, defend the push, but Aid did a ton of damage in that last fight. Was able to help take Peppy out with a hack. See if he can do it again. Hack on Peppy, follow up.
For it, but has to make a quick exit. Didn't have the follow-up there to try to get the punish this time around there onto the Sigma. Now Becky once again going to be finding Aid. Sigma also taken down. The drop down. The sticky bombs
The
into the back.
stagger is going to be really annoying. At least you have an ability to jump off here. Well, should be able to get it.
Nice. It's gonna
Yeah,
run
he's
all
just
the way
gonna
on
run.
the inside. So,
Yikes.
and here
殺
comes
してくんねえ
That
殺してくんねえ
right as he gets the remake available.
I mean, that's a lot of time burned out. At least they were able to build the EMP, but Simple has trance now. So, I mean, I feel like they've put themselves in such an awkward spot here. This is a very different style of Diva play than what we saw from Falcons earlier. Falcons were playing it slow. They were playing with Poke, playing against Doomfist. This is just Diva dive with EMP. Let's see if Simple can avoid that EMP and get the trance off. That is what this battle is going to be all about. And the longer they wait trying to find him, the longer they lose time. But Simple doesn't know where he
できれば
is.
ゼニアットフォーカスしたい。
Oh my god, I think he's going to get him.
ゼニアットの位置は味方に教えてて。
Right here into the corner, EMP coming
きっちり
through.
隠れ
Does
て
the
る。
connection there on a Simple, but it's actually going to be Peppy who finds the first kill. Argon is going to be taken out there by the Sigma.
これはシンプルでうまいね。
Swinging back around. Why are they just ignoring Aid? Goes back in, kills Lee Soon Mid. Now Aid going to be dead
あ
on
と
the
EMP
exit.
来る読みで
I should say.
カメラに隠れ
Break
た。
onto the mech here from 2U would be catastrophic.
これされたら
And
た
he
ま
is
たまったもん
forced
じゃ
to
ねえ
use
よ。
a self-destruct just to try to get himself back into this one. So will he
think
be able
that's
to
the end
make
of it.
happen? The answer is going to be yes, but now they need somebody to be able to go over and touch. Argon trying to make his way over there, antied out, down so low. Iris able to kill him off, and that will just be it. A hold in front of point B. Pokerface eventually able to stabilize. Things looking rough for them on that point A, but as soon as they get
EMP
off
運ぼう
that
として、
move
3、
over into
2、
the
1
street
やってる
space, the、defense
アンドゥーセイ
is
やってるタイミングで、
The opportunistic way in which they tried to play out that last fight with the EMP onto the Zenyatta,
結
I
果
think
論
this
で
was really what was their undoing
タイミン
because
グが良かったって
you
言え
can
ばそれ
still
までなんだけど、
EMP, and if they trance it, you can get
結果
value
が
out
全
of
て
it
だ
in
か
the
らね。
team fight. But
ま
trying to right-click hack the Zenyatta is very rarely going to work, and that's what he eventually decided to try to go for there. Then EMP'd because he was like, well, I'm bound, I have to do this, we only have one chance. Got the Zenyatta, but lost the team fight because it was so obvious, so apparent that the Sombra was that far in, that deep in. And you don't have the old translocator where you can go, oh, well, it didn't work out, I'm just going to rejoin my team and actually put damage off. You don't have that translocator anymore in Overwatch 2, so you make that play, it doesn't work out, you lose your front line, Peppy gets the pick, and that's that. So I thought it was a really cool idea, but a very different type of Diva than what we saw from Falcons, and very all-in its win conditions.
Yeah. I mean, it was being, piloted relatively well there from the side of 2U, but Just that constant musical chairs. It felt like of, different hero picks coming in from aid just ended up costing them. Not really able to find stability on any of them.
Argon gonna look for an opening pick here on the Tracer. Has to be very careful because of his positioning here. His recall is not going to give him safety if he wants to stick this long.
No one showing their face here. Proud. I
But
think
I
you're sticking
somehow-
around with this for a little bit too long there, buddy. Well, I'll drop down and go
や
over
っ
to
ぱ
the
エ
Tracer.
コーはどうしても採
Argon
用しな
really
いといけない
wants
んだ。
this. This is fairly greedy from him, but it could pay off.
Oh, and right as he looks away,
エコー採用の都合上穴は
does
外せない
manage
の
to
か。
get an opening volley there on a Proud. But he's got that Orb of Harmony here to help him win out the fight. Recall going to be burned. Good for the Accretion Sun, only able to come up with that one. Argon's still going to be looked a little bit low, has to bounce away.
I'm amazed Argon actually got out of there. It could have been disastrous.
He survives, but to you now diving in over towards stairs, but Simple getting the headshot, getting the kick, managing to take him down, and things similarly falling apart here for the side of Simprissa as Proud collecting Hunjay. At least some men going to be taken out, maybe? There it is. Simple able to find the kill. It gets him in the end, gets a second one to boot. That is going to be a very
あんま
fast
り評価
cap.
してない。
Very,
フュージェンは
very
穴
big time bank here, and not a lot of distance to go. Kilios 111 is going to be the number they need to hit here. And not to mention that they have a Transcendence they could use to actually contest that point coming up here very quickly. And Sinfrizza just, I think they were pretty split on what they wanted to do. Felt like a solo queue defense there with what Argon was trying to pull off. But if it works, it looks amazing. It did not.
あ、プレートうまい。
Man picked off Proud, very much amped up right now, it would seem. He's looking for the stick on Argon again. This guy is out for Tracer Blood. He is not able to find it this time around. Argon able to slink away with his life intact. Becky up in the skies, Dupe at the ready, just waiting for an opportunity to strike. Aid not that far behind though.
It's tough to actually find a target as 2U as well because the supports are so far away. You're not dealing with Lucio's here, and the Ana can sleep you if you try to go in, so you'll just die if you commit to that. He just doesn't have a whole lot of targets, to be honest.
I mean, slept anti-decretion.
Exactly.
Those things right there make for a very dead Doomfist, so he does have to be very cautious, very careful in his approaches here. As for now, it's going to be Nano out onto Peppy.
So much free push.
Yeah, going for the coffee as well, though, pushing down, wanting to keep this cart locked in place for the time being, and 2U finds his opening, gets on top of Simple, able to find that elimination, now goes up to the Meteor Strike, as there's just a sleep here, on to 8 in the meantime, Meteor Strike down into the alleyway, and it might not be the Meteor Strike finding the kill, but Ira still gets dropped, as Argon joins the fight.
I mean,
a little bit more there. Peppy, however, cleaning up both of the supports on the side of Simprissa again. Now Aid gonna be taken out. Peppy is going crazy. The guy's killed 4 players.
And now you don't have your Doomfist full. I mean, that's the only way you're going to get that backline access, get that support kill, but was it worth it is the question. 2U half health here, no ult to delay this cap of what is essentially B here. And look at how far forward Pokerface can play, and they're going to have the trance. There's just no staying power here for Simprissa. It's actually really going to be about a pick that comes through before that fight starts. And they lose Argon. It's the wrong side to get a pick.
I gotta say, Simple has been clean with it. Nano now invested from Kente over onto 8. He's able to utilize that. Nano to find a kill onto Becky. Stays alive for the time being as the Transcendence is forced out here from Simple. Everybody else topped up. 3 minutes and 18 seconds still remaining. The cart a little bit closer here towards that golden box of victory, but eventually they will make the call to go ahead and back off. But still have some major tools coming online here from Sinfrizza.
I wonder if Peppy will just try to set up a big bio with this Flux, or if he's just going to look for the capture with the Flux, where you just come in and sit on the cart and push them away and get the finish. If they actually have the numbers, I mean, he might be able to do that.
Just Flux 9 them.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean, and he might be looking for that. They're grouped on the point, so close to the capture.
Ready, Flux. Did it get the catch? Yes, it does. Finds the zoom in. 2U in the meantime going to be taken out, and this is just going to be things very much spiraling out of control here for Sinfrizza. The dupe on to that Zenyatta in desperation. The recall out Aid with just basically no HP. Hovering inside the butcher shop. Won't get to see the cart push forward. He gets taken down off screen as Pokerface continue on their merry way. Barely hindered at all in that Streets phase, in that opener. Just clean the whole way throughout. They now move up 2-0 here in the series.
A way more one-sided game than our first map on Samoya, but I think a lot of this just came down to the risky composition choices and perhaps a different meta read between these two teams on how King's Row should be played out. The Diva dive was not successful for SPG, and Pokerface really being extremely efficient there. And then that final fight as well, just the flux is so valuable, and the team is completely split. The supports are on the front line there, as the back line is trying to, or the DPS are trying to get to the back line, but then it's just a kill on the support, so there's no more healing. They get outplayed. Very, very disjointed. I think really frustrated with how that initial Diva dive didn't work, and the Sombra play did not work. So perhaps just a little bit disheartened, because I think the level of play we saw from them on that defense was not really similar to what we saw on Samoya. So a little bit unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, that first map, very back and forth, very much setting the stage for a tight series, but seems like Poker Face, King's Row, very much getting the better of their opponents. So now, that much more pressure on the likes of Sinprista to try to answer back here, because not only would we like to see them get a map win, but I mean, if they want to win the series, they need a reverse sweep.
They are going to need a reverse sweep. We have not gone to 4 just yet, and if something changes, I don't know if it's happening in this series either.
No. Well, I believe we're going to be getting ready to go to a quick little break, and when we come back, we'll get into push for our final map type, potentially, of this series, unless Sinprista has something to say about it. So we're going to go ahead and do that, take a little quick pause, and then we'll come back and see what happens. Not yet. Never mind.
Not yet.
A little bit longer.
Hold.
Have any one-word summaries of the series so far?
I think it's too tough to summarize in one, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably say proud.
Proud. All right, I can get behind that one. I just say, damn. Anyway, time to go to our break. We'll see you guys in just a few minutes, so don't go anywhere.
よいしょ。あと2分。シンデレラトーナメント、夏子出ないんだ。酔っ払って眠くなってきたな。
Alrighty, welcome back. It's time to go into map number 3. Things kicked off between Pokerface and Sinprissa, and we're looking pretty neck and neck, but as we got into King's Row, it didn't look that way. Things getting way more in favor of Pokerface. They're very easily able to deal with Sinprissa and now lead the series 2-0, meaning that this push map could potentially be the last.
Very much a different read on the meta. Did not work out for SPG, but we're going to Esperanza. It's their map pick here for control. And moving to a wider, map type than King's Row, where a lot of the map is very narrow. Probably going to go back to that mirrored Echo Tracer Doomfist based on what we've seen from Korea so far. But we've already seen some interesting Diva compositions, as we did, of course, have Faith back in for Simple, if you guys missed that substitution. So just was a King's Row specific double flex support composition they ran, and so just gonna be changing the back.
Yeah, and they made it look pretty damn good, honestly. I mean, Simple came in, he did his job. Good God, he was going crazy on that Zenyatta. Really nice picks from him, despite the early crumble on that A defense from the side of Pokerface. They managed to rally back and had a very tight-knit hold over at B, and then from there the push was just as strong. But now, we'll see if the push can be just as strong as we go into push.
That will be the big question on everyone's mind. I think that the tank play overall, like Peppy looked very good on the Sigma, but I think his Doomfist looked a little bit weaker than Tuyu's. But like I said, it's not a huge gap between these two, which could be disastrous.
From Apex to
OWCS.
Yeah. Runaway fan to the end, but also rocking the Soul Infernal jersey.
Yeah. So
could be a Mag fan.
Yeah, could be. But yeah, we are going to Esperanza. I was just going to say, I think maybe this is where we see a bounce back for Sinprissa with Tuyu playing Doomfist, if that's what he's going to play. It's wild. We haven't seen any Wrecking Ball today at all, even though it's been so prevalent in other regions.
Yeah, it seems like Korea so far just straying away from it. I thought for sure if anybody was going to be playing it, it was going to be Mag, but him not picking it up, maybe it just means that it's Dej.
And you know what happens when Korean teams don't play stuff and they start a meta? Everybody copies them, so it might just be Dej forever, Achilleos. Any EMEA and NA teams watching this right now, and Japanese teams watching this right now going like, that's not what we do. Maybe we're doing it wrong. I think maybe week 2 will look a little bit different.
Nah, NA will just say like, oh no, like, It's them that are wrong, and it's not us.
Yeah, but those 2 Korean imports on most of those teams are going to be, I think they might have a strong feeling about it, Achilles.
Well, we'll see. But we're also looking to see if Sinprisa can get back into this one, can even things up a bit more like we were seeing on the opening game there of Samoa, or if this is going to be another 3-0 coming through at the hands of Poker Face. I mean, right now, momentum definitely in their favor, but after the quick little break, maybe that's enough for Sinprisa to get ready. But either way, let's go ahead and jump into Game 3 as we head back over to Esperanza once more.
You ever hang out at Cafe Caravella?
Yeah, that's the one in Dongdaemun, I think, right? They all have weird names like that in Korea.
Um,
Oh, what was it? Okay, so I was just working over in Seongsu last week.
Yeah.
Which is a big cafe district in Seoul.
Yes.
And there was one, and I don't know what language it was. It could have been French or German, but there was one, and just reading the cafe named, it looked like its name was Gutlut. And it just made me laugh because it's like, yes, anyone want an Americano from Gutlut?
I mean, that sounds like good loot to me. It is going to be mirrored Tracer Echo comps, by the way. We didn't really need to state it, but I guess I will just remind everyone that this is the meta in Korea right now. And so, see if 2U can survive here. He's very low.
Back over onto the Doom. This is where it was looking the brightest on that first map. We're now going over the pond, connecting over the wall, not able to find any of the players on the opposite side as the neutral fight does continue. Beam out from Becky, looking for a finishing blow there, but 2U taken low, but not going to be taken down quite just yet. Proud as well, tagged up, just relying on the healers here. Harris in particular, trying to get those heals across the dashing board. And getting a bit of a diff there on Argon, putting him down with a melee hit.
Yeah, looks like Argon just didn't have any blinks there. That was pretty peculiar. He was just kind of walking around in headshot range and got blasted, so probably just used all of his blinks, didn't have it there, and just gets taken out, and that's going to be the win here for Poker Face. Their push begins. And unfortunately, losing out on that neutral fight means Sinprisa have to go back to the drawing board here. Very risky call there by Peppy, but actually won't be punished. Just going to get his way out of there.
Yeah, I mean, he had a really nice seismic slam, get a little bit of that extra green HP as 2U again diving forward, but Becky just takes these guys once more to go ahead and avoid that forward pressure being put out by the Doomfist. Today rush down, built up, pulse bomb in, 2U with the fist raising, a little bit to get a lot of that damage. Now Sound Barrier going to be online here from Young Jae if he needs it in the extended fight. But now Peppy going to be taken down, so things start looking a bit better here from Sinprisa. They will be able to grab the bot and start moving it.
The Doomfist attacker, the Doomfist that goes in first, if it doesn't secure an elimination, is obviously in danger because they are overextended, don't have their cooldowns, and the enemy team hasn't used any of their damage to try to kill anyone else. So they don't kill 2U, they use a lot of their ammo, Proud's out of damage, and then the turret is very clean from Sinprisa Gaming. So messing up that second really good time there for Poker Face, the first being much more successful.
2U, Meteor Strike out to safety. Iris a bit low on HP, so holding on to that Today rush. Want to get back into a bit of a more open area before committing that one into the fight. But for now, it's going to be the Doom coming in for Becky. Now the Today rush there on the back end. Once again, just going for the copy here onto the Doom. For the double rocket punch forward here. Trying to find a target, but getting turned around a little bit. Ends up getting punched from behind, now broken out of that Dupe. So 6 bombs do come in. Bot going to be kept in a neutral position for the time being as Mercer getting things close. But oh man, the stun coming in. Argon going to be taken down. Proud going to play off the back of that one perfectly. So seismic slamming does continue. Instead, that means that pulse bomb now out of the fight. Sound barrier committed on either side there. Now the shielding is gone. 2U's going to get broken down. Aid broken out of the duplicate. He will be able to break line of sight and keep himself safe for the time being, but once again, the bot being pushed forward here for Poker Face.
A lot of damage put onto that fight by Iris as well, and Proud, you could see he's just free reign to chase them back and output that damage, win the tank war, and that's going to be the checkpoint gain here for Poker Face. 53 meters belong to them. Sinprisa, see, it's all about the angle they want to try to take on this next fight. As, we'll get the retake for now, in fact. They're just going to let it happen. Poker Face looking for a bigger wraparound, losing control of the robot, but Poker Face put Proud in position again to do damage, and that's not the stick you're looking for.
Some damage when Heavy up and quickly healed back up here. Consider rush again in here for Lee Min. Good punch to you, able to isolate. Off Proud. Beam from Aid, almost finding Becky as well, but he barely slinks away. Keeps himself in this fight for the time being.
Everything they just did in that fight was so close to being great, so close to being a pick, so close to being a one-team fight, but it all comes up empty. Pokerface will avoid losing anybody. They need to get back control of this robot, and that's what they're going to group up now to do. Oh boy.
Give up neutral position on the bot.
ビラが入れるな
So we give them the lead. Once again, they're starting to move this one away as the Kitsune Rush comes out of it. Everyone from Sin President has to go backward here. Backpedaling away. Sticky bombs in. Proud up over the top. Just gunning down Hyunjae, finding that elimination. Leaves him in down low on HP and options to heal himself dangerously low. His own boy, Proud almost just gets himself completely caught up in his own explosion.
He didn't need the ult, man. Why is it even tossing it?
I don't know. He wants the style points. I mean, this guy been looking clean overall here today. Had a couple sticks on the Argon earlier as well, so he wants to try to get that mid-flight echo to boot.
I mean, his tracking is so insane. It almost looks like he's cheating. Like he's just cleanly clicking on heads and tracking people's heads in these fights at such high speeds. Okay, we're gonna see the ult out here from Peppy. This could be a re-engage angle.
He's deciding to go aggressive with it here as well. Scientific Slam is good. Argon down low on HP. Another pulse bomb about to be online here for him. It's to you. Set up for a moment. Goes up now. Here's right from himself. Soundbeer connects across onto 4 players. Pulse bomb out from 8 on the dupe. Unable to find a thing. His faith will be able to take down Argon, but now Proud fell. He gets the dupe here, putting another dupe into the fight. Thing very much starting to get away from the side of Pokerface a bit. Becky now last one standing here alongside Faith.
さすがにいるメンツがドゥーム言うと負ける
Faith is able to find
ドゥーム対エコドゥーム対エコ
Sticky bombs in. Fist goes
Eco,
up. He rides
Eco
over
nakati.
into the wall with a rocket punch, but eventually will get taken down. And just like that, the bot stays pushing.
I mean, Becky just carried that fight so hard, gets the transform, layers a massive amount of damage there, and then hits the headshots there on the try, and then is able to beam down his opposition and basically 1v5 with a little bit of help, but not that much, to be honest. Duplicate high value for Pokerface, so now they're at over 100 meters here.
Over 100 meters. Ooh. They want to try to go for this full push. Otherwise, 4 minutes now remaining. The crowd first picked off a good opening kill there from Lee Soo-min. Now Faith going down means that Ira's trying to turn the tide of a fight with the Kitsune Rush. Very unlikely, very ill-advised. So the rest of the team now just going to look to backpedal as much as humanly possible, but Ira cannot make it out in safety.
Peppy living with like 10 health there will get healed back up now, but it's going to take a long time before he's relevant.
Okay, yeah, just says, you know what, screw this, I'm going to grab a health pack.
Yeah, grabs the health pack. Not going to get that much ult charge out of that play instead, but I mean, they have a lot of room to work with here. They're 75 meters ahead of their opposition, so can just regroup. Don't have to try to hard force a turn. And at this point in time, I mean, Sin Priza, the onus is on them to actually win a fight to control this card, as Pokerface just waiting, letting them come to them, taking the defensive fight with the advantages they have. Great decision making.
Crowd up here onto the high ground. Kitsune Rush backing him up as 2U comes up. Disrupts with a nice little rocket punch, catching on multiple players. Bot just a couple meters away from hitting this checkpoint here from the side of Sin Priza. They can just try to clear things out a little bit more, but for now, they're staying firmly attached to this one. Are Pokerface. Becky going to be broken out of that duplicate. Answering dupe now here from A. Hounds him down, finds the elimination. So close being broken out of this one. The fist comes up. He's actually holding on to this form for quite a little while, longer than we might have anticipated. Eventually now will be broken out of this one. Bot, again, moving forward, getting even closer. A couple more meters left to go for that checkpoint to come riding in, but now Faith dropping the beat, matching Hyunjae along the opposite
サウン
side.
ドバリアが入ってエン
For both the
ゲ
teams.
ージが長引くが
Everybody back into the fight.
I mean, Pokerface were down a member, and they're still winning this fight. Hyunjae's down. I mean, Proud finds him. They have so much control right now. It's unreal that they shouldn't even be allowed to have.
Now it starts slipping away from them here. Faith joining up onto the high ground, able to find Argon. He does fall, and once more, Pokerface looking to shift that bot back across the opposite side, regain those forward spawns at the very least for themselves.
Oh, they will regain those for sure. And Pokerface, they got a pulse bomb now. Becky and Peppy messed up the last fight, and Proud still gets it done with some of the help from Iris there. They still buy enough time with the traded sound barriers. And somehow, some way, this team is back in control. Made it look easy.
Just past it now. Forward spawns in play here for the side of Pokerface. If anybody gets picked off, pulse bomb still at the ready there from Proud, waiting to see if he can find that opportunity, find that opener. Kitsune Rush is available. There's going to be looking to try to catch up. CP up onto the high ground, joining in alongside 2U there on that dive as Argon's going to get tagged up off screen, and now he's going to be taken down. Becky with a headshot. He'll find that kill. Beam in. Hyunjae so very low. Somehow stays alive. Submit though, committing in with the Kitsune rush down to a sliver of health himself, and now will be the trouble. Becky finds the kill. Faith gets 8, and that Kitsune rush gets them absolutely nothing but a trip back to the spawn room.
It's just target selection a little bit off for SPG. So many of these fights, and they're just not able to do the damage efficiently. You watch the first-person views of these players, and it's like, oh, they almost got somebody, but then their backline is ripped to shreds by Proud, who wasn't even there, wasn't even contesting the fight. And they just got to be faster at killing players if they're going to focus down a single target. They need to make sure the focus is better. Proud going to be forced to recall. Small victory.
Stunned up to dive in, coming through. Argon trying to find execution there. Still committed into this one here. On the side of Poker Face, Becky now using the nuke as well. It's a Doom Fist to replace Peppy in his absence.
それさ当たってれば今
Though not going to punch too much.
かなりでかかったけど
Broken out of the mech, but at the same time, Proud is able to find aid. 2U getting tagged up, getting more forward, lower. That Meteor Strike still 11% away from being online, so he does not have that bailout, and now he's got nowhere to go. He ends up getting picked off as Proud will collect 2 more kills. Lee Soo-min added there to the ledger.
手をするか
They just
Another
can't
one,
keep
the
up.
push continues to roll through as Peppy is right up against the spawn room doors.
They just can't keep up with the chaos that Poker Face is putting at them. With Proud getting to the back line, with Peppy constantly looking for measured second punches against 2U, playing reactively. Pulse bomb?
Pulse bomb in, not going to find the execution there, but still putting work in towards Hyunjae, who will not be able to stay alive. Knew that if he tried to drop the beat, was likely just going to end up Ajaxing it, so tries to save it, tries to rely on the rest of his team to delay back over here at the bot, but 2U cannot live very long. The dive in. Aid needs to stay stuck to this one. So Meteor Strike drops down, looking for the kill. The rejoin here from Hyunjae.
ハウンドバリアが入るけど
himself going to be
入
stunned
る
up.
けど
Becky
どう
is
しよ
taken
うもない
low,
な
trying to escape up over the top of the wall, ends up getting picked off as Becky will find
体勢
aid.
も何もないか
So
ら
they
な
rush out from Lee Soo-min, a desperate Hail Mary bid to try to get themselves in this one at some point, but it's just never been in their favor. Poker Face the whole way throughout here on Esperanza have constantly been in control, and they will be able to close it out with a full push in overtime.
Yeah, very much a game that started off slow and then ramped into the chaos that Proud was going to put into their backline. And Hyunjae, he did not have a fun time on that third map. He was obliterated. He was constantly being hounded down. Wasn't a lot of peel there. And, I mean, it's a 3-map series. It's a very fast one. But it felt like almost at the end of that map, that SPG were just fatigued. Like, they couldn't keep their coordination up. They were not able to keep up with the pace of the game. They were getting split and not making calls together. And not for one moment did Poker Face stop making all the right decisions, stop playing as a team. And every time Sin Priza tried to go for a play and they failed to get the eliminations, it was like instantly on the other side of the kill feed. Like, you could just see the kill feed pop up of what was happening in the other fight. Like, oh, they lost the back line while they failed to kill the enemy front line themselves. Just not able to keep up, unfortunately, and it's another 3-0 on the day here for OWCS Korea.
That it is. Let's see who our player of the match is, though, and what a surprise. It's Proud! I don't think this is going to be a shock to anybody. This guy from the outset was putting in some incredible work with this Tracer. Very clean with it. I mean, like you said, at times, it felt like he did have some kind of aim tracker on.
There were times also, because he was so conservative with his blinks, there were times where he was actually killing his enemy counterpart in Argon, while Argon's like blinking around, and Proud is just like straight up normal walking. He's like pressing W towards him and killing him, while the other Tracer is just blinking around and having to recall. There were other times where he stayed stationary and actually fired and had incredible tracking. It was pretty insane. A very unique and different playstyle we saw from him compared to our other Tracers earlier in the day.
Yeah, I mean, Proud not needing all of the fancy movement to be able to come out on top, saying, look at them, look what they need to do to mimic our power, but he is going to be able to win player of the match here in his opening game of the OWCS Korea, so congratulations over to Proud and Poker Face as well, who just continue to look very, very dominant.
Yeah, and you know, the beginning of the series didn't make me feel like we were going to have a 3-0. I really didn't see it that way. I think T had a good game. I think Aid and Argon played well, but that's not good enough apparently when you're playing against Proud.
I mean, it was a hot start from Aid in particular. 2U still looking, pretty clean there on that defense, but when your back line is just getting so wrecked by the likes of Proud, Becky, as well as Peppy, who is constantly just jumping in there.
This moment too.
Keep it alive as a Doomfist. pretty difficult if you don't have healers, as it turns out.
No, exactly. That moment there too, where we've watched this replay a few times, where Proud actually just blinks past Argon and steals his Mega away, so he has to recall. Then of course Proud didn't have to recall, so wins that. Recalls, reacts quickly here. So many big sticks, and like Hyunjae, he just wasn't able to deal with the pressure. I think a lot of that was because the playstyle of these two tanks is so different. Pepe's a lot more sticking with his backline, whereas Tuyu's trying to find more plays, and so as soon as that left Hyunjae out to dry. This map, where they had a different meta read, definitely did not do any favors to the momentum for Sin Prison Gaming.
No, certainly not. But yeah, I mean, anytime things were going well here for the side of Poker Face, it always felt like Proud, if not leading the charge, was right there alongside whoever was setting up for the opening picks. But it's time to go ahead and throw it over to the stage with our interview and Unknown on translation.
네, 2024 OWCS 두 번째 경기 막을 내렸습니다. SPG와 포커페이스의 경기였는데요.
バラテきたし、ここでやめようかな。
포커페이스에게
もう試合は勝手に見て。
축하드립니다.